Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Higurashi. And we've had a few days pass since our latest shenanigans. That would be the incident where we encountered the photographer and went for our statue, I take it. During that time, Mion was either busy or Rika-chan had to help with the festival preparations. So we couldn't get everybody together for club activities. So no more zombie tag. No more being beaten unconscious by the principal because you tried to pat his head. I believe. Oh, that was probably the incident. I bet. We're slightly off track. The incident was definitely us having to do a bunch of really stupid shit for their game, for their card game. That was pretty funny. So people are busy. That's too bad. What's with all these bonks? What am I doing wrong here? That was a fun event. Is someone trying to pat my head? I think someone's trying to pat my head. Even though I thought I'd never want to participate again, after the years it shaved off of my life each time, not having it only made my heart grow fonder. He literally sacrificed years of his life and he still thinks it's worth it? Alright. I really am not honest with myself. Today we finally had our club activities again. Oh boy, oh boy. These weren't the same old club activities. It was called the Watanagashi 5 Demon Firefight, and it was one of the biggest events in the club. Keiichi, does this yukata still fit you? Can you try it on for a second? Mom pulled out an old dusty yukata. No, I don't need a yukata. Those are embarrassing. I'll just go in my normal clothes. It's a festival. Wear it, okay? Rin and the others said regular clothes are just fine. If I was the only one wearing a yukata, it would be super embarrassing. I put on the same old vest as usual. I'll be going with Reina and the others, so you don't need to worry about me. Is that so? I'll be going with Dad when he wakes up. Dad let out a loud snore from the sofa. Evidently he solved his crisis. For how it looks, he must have pulled an all-nighter last night. He just finished sending in his manuscript. We may not wake up for a while. It seems my dad writes for art magazines sometimes, too. I mean, you gotta make some money, right? You live in the middle of nowhere. Writing seems like a good plan. Okay. Ow. I'm getting bonked, but I don't know why. I've never read it, though. I wonder if my dad is a really famous artist. Since his own son is saying something like that, I can't imagine he's selling all that well. But he's able to feed a family of 3, and my life isn't exactly full of hardships. It could be that he's some master painter and I didn't know about it. Oh? Keiichi, are you home? Uh-oh, it's already time. I didn't want them coming here, so I was planning on leaving early and waiting outside. Well, you already screwed that one up. Oh my, it's Reina-chan. How's it going, Reina? How's it going? Thank you for always looking after Keiichi. Ma'am, he's also been looking out for... Why are you blushing just from meeting my mom? She's meeting your parents for the first time. Don't get all flustered. It really doesn't feel right. Let's go, Reina. Since Reina would continue to space out if I left her here, I grabbed her hand and dragged her out. Reina-chan, look after Keiichi for me. Axes? No, no axes. No axes today. Reina did not bring her axe to your house. At least I don't think she did. Yes, ma'am, even if it means I must sacrifice myself. Damn, she's, Why don't you do it right now? Wait, what? She waved back even as I was dragging her away. What would sacrificing herself now accomplish? Okay, Kei-chan. You hungry today? We'll take care of that at these stalls. You thought I'd let myself get full knowing the club activities will involve the stalls? Wouldn't have it any other way. So where are Rika and Satoko? Are they already at the temple? Yep. Rika-chan's a festival committee member after all. Satoko's probably with her as well. I see. Well, alright. Let's make some noise today! Yeah, we were already in high spirits with just the three of us here. It was way more lively at the Farood Shrine than last time I came, far exceeding my expectations. Throngs of people were crammed between rows of market stalls lined with colorful paper lanterns. Despite that, it was actually quite enjoyable. There sure are lots of people here. I can't believe they all live in Hinamizawa. Well, this is a small town, right? So, usually in like really small towns, especially pre-internet, there'd be like half the town there. For a festival or something to do. Everybody attends Watanagashi. I think about half the village is there. Is here. Awesome. It's not just that. Municipal and youth councils from neighboring towns and villages advertise this event as well. That's right. There aren't that many students at our school, but there's lots of kids here today. It just doesn't feel like a festival unless there's kids running around after all. True, I agree. I think that's probably true. It's not really a festival if there aren't a lot of people there. It's kind of just like a small event. Hello and good evening. These two knew everybody we came across. Of course, I greeted them as well, but I still wasn't familiar with everybody yet. Oh, Raina-chan, thanks for the food you brought me a while back. My son loved it. He said it was delicious. It was nothing at all. I'm glad you liked it. Say hello to Kazuma-kun for me, please. Hey. If it isn't Sonozaki Ojo-chan, I'm in charge of a stand again this year. Make sure you come visit. Pops, have you gotten fatter? You'll end up having a heart attack with a gut like that. Oh, this kid here's new. Are you one of our underclassmen? He is one of my members. An upcoming hopeful. If you cross him, he could crush your stand in one night. You've got Little Missy's seal of approval, I see. Hope you take it easy on me. As you can imagine, Mion was chatting away with the old guys running the stalls. Chan is really energetic, after all. He's really popular with the older men. Wait a minute. I think Reina's pretty popular too. Being cute and all. That was, of course, so long as her little condition didn't flare up. But as long as she's blushing quietly, she's pretty cute. Popular with some people? Really? Some people? I evaded giving her a straight answer by roughly tussling her hair. The stall keepers came all the way from town. It's not really a festival without them, after all. So we're gonna mess with them now? I don't care what kind of match it is, I'm gonna win it. Oh yes, I'll try to. So what kind of game are we gonna be playing at the festival? Hey, you're all very late. Running into FBI problems again. Okay, she's just playing games with the older men at the stalls. It has nothing to do with me. I'm safe. I'm not going to be in any danger from the FBI, courtesy of Mion. I hope not, at least. Got very late. It's unacceptable to keep a lady waiting. Keiichi-chan. Keiichi-san. Oh, my bad. So, where's this lady I've kept waiting? What did you just say? Alright, Satoko was in top form as well. Seems she was excited about being able to get everybody in the club together for the first time in a while. Oh, Rika-chan, cute. Reina let out an elated sigh. Third visit from the FBI today. Oh boy. Not your day, is it? It seems the real lady had made her appearance. Where's Rika? Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Keiichi, as well. Ooh, looking good. You're looking sharp again this year. So cute. Going to take you home. Rika-chan was wearing a Shrine Maiden outfit. Yep. Reina's little outburst was completely understandable. Rika's clothes sure look like the real deal. Is that a real Shrine Maiden outfit? My grandmother made them by hand. They're quite authentic. Rika-chan has an important task to do at the end of the festival, so she's wearing this. I see. Rika was on the executive committee because she performed all the Shrine Maiden rituals for the festival. My work's only during the finale of the festival, but I can still play for a while. But we can't afford to waste any time. Let's begin. Alright. Felt too good to wander around the festival with just the 5 of us. Felt so good. Awesome. Mion called everyone over to a stand that caught her attention and proposed a rather odd competition. Takoyaki eating race. Everyone has to buy their own. Ready? Go. A standard in vendor stalls, the takoyaki stand. What was especially standard for these kinds of events was the fact they were simply balls of dough, takoyaki in name only. It burns! Are you okay? Can't you have some water? My, eating those scalding takoyaki whole is suicide. I guess the trick is to buy the ready-made ones that have been left there for a while. They really don't taste good. Only balls of dough? It's supposed to be octopus and dough, and it's only dough. But let's be honest, this is cheap festival food. At least they're telling us the truth instead of obfuscating it like anime, and they're like if you go to a festival, half the food's gonna be as cheap as possible, right? There might be good food, but some of the food's like super cheap stuff. The stall next to it was a shaved ice stand. It was still a bit too early in the season for that, but right then, it didn't matter. Okay, shaved ice this time. It's shaved ice eating race. Ready? Go. Shaved ice eating. I can't. As long as you can melt it a bit with your body heat, then it's so cold. Not smart. This old man ordered it with plenty of syrup. It'll melt quickly when it's mixed up. Those stooges were too late. The moment they chose to tackle it head on was their downfall. Whew. Finish. Kei-chan is done? That's too fast. It couldn't be. Keiichi, you didn't add water from the goldfish tank behind you, did you? That can't taste very good. He added water from the goldfish tank behind him? Adding water from a fish tank, that's not gonna... That is quite unhygienic. That is quite unhygienic, damn, alright. Next to that's another old favorite. A cotton candy stand. Half of my viewership is stuck in horny jail. Thanks to the FBI. That's not good. That's not good. So, why don't we do this one next? Cotton candy. Of course, it's a speed eating contest. How did you eat cotton candy quickly? How? On Satoko's mark, Mion, Satoko, and I all compressed the cotton candy with our bare hands. The time it took to stick the whole thing in our mouths? 3 seconds. I expected Satoko to figure it out, but I didn't think Kei-chan would too. Interesting, interesting. Oh. I can't have you treating me like I'm a newbie forever, can I? It won't taste very good. Rika had also crushed it between her hands and stuck it in her mouth. Probably the only place in Japan where people eat cotton candy like this. I think only Reina's cotton candy was happy with how it's eaten. Man, compressed cotton candy tastes so mediocre. That is not how you want to eat cotton candy at all. I've run a cotton candy stand before. I can definitely tell you, you do not want to do that. Or like scrape cotton candy from the bottom when it's done and it's like 80% sugar. It's not great. Not an enjoyable eating experience at all. Alright. But it felt like we'd end up doing stuff like eat noodles through the nose contest or human water pump at the goldfish scoop at the rate things were going. This old man will probably still win too. I'm simply no match for Mion when it comes to eating repulsive things. Yeah, seriously. What's up with you guys? Are you telling me you don't want to have a blue Hawaii top yakisoba eating contest? Shake, shake. Both Satoko and I shook our heads in unison. Can we have a game that doesn't involve food? Can we? Reina's proposal was a godsend. It was about time we played something else. Yeah, just tearing through stalls, buying everything, and eating it as fast as possible is probably not super enjoyable. It seemed like neither Reina nor Rika were any good at speed eating or gorging themselves. Okay, Reina, I'll let you pick the next game. Anything's fine. What do you got, Reina? Well then, well. I'm gonna be the judge. Find cute things on the festival grounds. You have 1 minute. Fine by me. 1 minute. Fine, I know exactly what Reina likes. Alright. I think I can win with that. Ready? Go. Oh. Why aren't Keiichi and Rika starting? Why not? Mion and Satoko dashed off madly, but Rika and I calmly stayed right where we were. Could it be? You've already found it? The cute thing? You've already found it. Keiichi too? Yeah. What is it? What is it? I can't wait. Both Rika and I stood motionless for those few moments before Mion and Satoko returned. This is probably the first time we've gone to head like this. It'll be the first. Rika, you expect to win with that, huh? I am a member of this club as well. Win by any means is our society's third rule. So is she gonna use herself as the cutest thing? That might be true. Rika sneered to the best of her ability. You're... Both Mion and Satoko came back, each with their own plan of attack stuffed in their arms. Okay, let's go in order. Let's start with Club President Michan. Too bad, you guys. I'm ending this now. This old man brought this. Where did she get those? They're old tin, diamond-shaped designs? Pleb curry, snake oil incense, Oronoman sea? How about this? That's very understated. A little too understated, me. What? I used to see those stuck up on barbed wire fences. They're more nostalgic than cute. Can you explain what part of that's cute? But there were puffs of smoke noisily shooting out of Reina's ears and nose, almost like a steam train. Wait, Reina likes that? Okay. I didn't get it. I'll be up next. It's this. It was the hand-drawn poster from the Ladies' Society roasted corn stall. It was a really bad sketch done by a housewife. An anthropomorphic roasted corn drawn without any sort of real plan. Its very existence invited a sense of sorrow to the viewer. It's a corn stall. Anthropomorphic corn. And it instills a sense of sorrow. That's a depressing sketch. That was the sound of blood jetting out of Reina's nose. Wait, she went for these? It seemed to have been rated higher than Mion's. I really didn't get it. It feels like your artistic sense is a little avant-garde by about 5 eons? Oh, they were nothing but mass-produced signs after all. They had no chance against something hand-drawn. I couldn't even begin to follow the way these guys were thinking. I will be next. Next is Rika-chan, is it? What can you even do without anything? You and Satoko both forget? If Rika felt like it, she could simply... After moving back about 10 yards, she began waddling up to Reina. Seeing that, both Mion and Satoko gasped. Oh no! Too late. They realized it. Rika tripped over nothing and lay motionless after falling down. Reina hurried over to her. Rika, are you alright? Are you alright? Rika had a lump on her forehead and tears welled up in her eyes. Only her fingers peeked out from her sleeves. This is the vital part. The palms of her hands were covered by her sleeves. She made just a single set. Mew. Oh, there's no way we beat that. How are we beating that? Cute. How are we beating it? That was what I was expecting. We were to be like, present Rika and be like, it's Rika. Going to take you out. I'd completely forgotten that. The play I personally had to use. Reina's face went completely red, her head bobbing back and forth with excitement. She embraced Rika and began rubbing her cheek against her. I'd expect no less from her. Not a single element was overlooked. Lolly, Shrine Maiden, Brink of Crying, Mew, it was perfect. A simple trip transcended into pure moe, and that is what you call art. Yeah, that's a beautiful play from her. She's got like all of her bases covered for kawaii. What is our character's plan if he's not presenting her? Kei-chan has a pretty weird definition of art. What do you mean? That is pure art. Even I agree with Kei-chan. Screw you, Mion. I'll just pretend the sharp sting of those words cutting through me like a razor was a figment of my imagination. Rika turned her gaze to me with a daunting smile as she was caressed by Reina in full cute mode. Now, Keiichi, can you beat me? That cold smile is frightening, Rika-chan. It must just be my imagination, but I see a demon inside her sometimes. Possessed Shrine Maiden? Yeah, that seems predictable. Kei-chan seems to have his own plan of attack. I wonder what he's gonna show her. I also wish to observe the play Keiichi-san will make. Could it be? Is he also going to give a performance? I basked in their pointed stares. I pulled Reina, who gave no sign of canceling out of cute mode, away from Rika-chan. Cute thing. Keiichi-kun, let's go. I'll show you something even cuter. Just hold on for now. Something even cuter? It's a bit too crowded here. Let's go back there. Reina looked surprised as I pulled her behind the shrine. I can't fathom what Keiichi could possibly be planning. It's Kei-chan after all. No, it couldn't be. Roll to seduce? It couldn't be. Keep on fighting, yes! After a bit, I returned. And a bit after that, so did Reina, dragging her feet. There's no way that scoundrel did something to innocent little Reina? Mion and Satoko passed by me, heading straight to Reina. What exactly did he do to you? For a moment, Reina was too dazed to realize someone was talking to her. Oh, it's me-chan. Reina, are you alright? Did Kei-chan do anything to you? No, he didn't do anything strange to me. This is quite severe. Exactly what did Keiichi-san show you? It was so cute. Cute? What did he show you, Reina? She let out a really long howl. Her eyes sparkled as she spoke. Cute, so cute. It was Keiichi-kun's furry little seal. Furry little seal. What? In the blink of an eye, Mion and Satoko's elbows smashed into my face. What? Showing Reina something so dirty? You sick pervert. His furry little seal. Alright, that's one way to describe it. Alright. I shall have you beaten into oblivion. Wait, you got it all wrong! A dark, billowing aura flowed from Mion and Satoko. This sounds like something a few of you would seriously have considered. It was no good. They're gonna kill me. Mi-chan, I'm not sure what's going on. You've got it all wrong. You see Keiichi-kun had... It's a fur seal keychain. Rika-chan stuck her hand into my pocket and pulled out my keychain. He said he made it long ago for one of his summer school assignments. He said he doesn't show it to others often because it's embarrassing. Yeah. So small and cute. He tried his best to make it. It's so wonderful. Oh, this old man thought you meant it was Keiichi's cute little fur seal. Yeah, Keiichi's other cute fur seal. I'd expect no less from Mion. You misconstrued things in the wildest ways. Didn't they both punch him? They slung insults at each other and looked like they were ready to tear into each other at any second. I beg of you. If I'm in the clear, please get off of me. We were interrupted by the flash of a camera. Hey guys. You all seem energetic as usual. It was Tomatake-san. As I lay crumpled on the ground, Mion and Satoko continued to bicker above me. Rika was patting me on the head and Reina was still in cute mode. It was probably quite a lively scene. fine evening indeed. Although it's rather poor etiquette to photograph a lady without her permission. That's right. At least you don't really need Satoko's permission to... Satoko dug her heel into me. Good evening. Ah, you're heading back tomorrow, aren't you? Were you able to take lots of good photos? Thanks to you, I got plenty of good shots. Tonight's the last we can see old Tomatake-sama, isn't it? It's such a shame. Hurry up and have your major breakout soon. Just as rude as ever, aren't you? I really am sad I won't be able to hear that voice of yours for almost half a year. So this guy spends like what? He spends like a couple months here every year. Be sure to have as much fun as you can tonight. You'll be back in Tokyo tomorrow after all. It's true. It'll be another 6 months. 6 whole months. Rough stuff, dude. Until I can enjoy another night where I can see the stars. Tomatake looked up at the night sky cheerfully. At that moment, even though he was still smiling, I sensed a bit of sadness. Why don't you move here, Tomatake? In Hanamizawa? Tomatake was speechless. It's not very convenient here. No shops or recreational spots. There might not be anything really here, but you know, everyone knew what I was trying to say. Tomatake-san was also well aware. So Reina, Mion, Satoko, and Rika-chan. None of them butted in. I've only been here for less than a month, so I don't really know everything about it. Normally I'm a really talkative guy, but in situations like this I'm at a loss for words. Even though all this is happening in such a boisterous setting. It felt like the background noise was fading into the distance, that awkward moment when you're like, I can't think of anything to say. This place is probably... Tomatake-san rested his hand on me gently, silencing me. Thank you, Ichikun. Mion-san and Reina-chan, Satoko and Rika. Tomatake's smile was so slight it looked as if it was going to crumble at any minute, but it was warm. I also think it would be great if I could live here. Those might have been cruel words coming from a kid who didn't need to worry about working to feed himself. A hand touched my back. It was Reina. Kichikun, you shouldn't pick on adults. It's not nice. The background clamor of the festival returned. We won't be seeing him for a while, after all. We need to make sure Tomatake also enjoys the night. When Reina smiled, the mood instantly got brighter, so the reasoning is that he probably can't find a job in the area, or it's, like, not viable for him to do that because he's got to take care of other people. It's a bit unfortunate, but that's life sometimes, right? Real life getting in the way of his desire to live in the countryside. Return to nature. It's true. I think I'll do just that. Hey, Michan, how about it? Can we let Tomatake in on our club activities? That's a great idea, or so I thought, but Mion had a snobbish look on her face. One of the requirements for membership is residence in Hinamizawa, you see. Oh, come on, Michan, just for today, don't be mean. I mean, he does come around every year. I'll make him an honorary citizen. Yeah. Now then, I wonder if this aged fellow well past his prime will be a match for me. Let's have him show us the wisdom of a mature adult. Can you keep up with us, young'un? Tomatake stepped back slightly at her audacious grins. I, Mion Sonozaki, club president, do hereby authorize honorary citizen Tomatake's entry into our club. Her words were quickly drowned out by our cheers. What do you mean by club? What our club does, you see. In order to cope with our complicated society, we perform various activities with various rules. Sometimes they're in your favor, and sometimes they work against you. I'm pretty weak, so I prefer you not single me out. Let's try to get along. If you wish to mock our childish games, this will be the perfect opportunity. We'll leave you with nothing. We won't even leave the hairs on your butt. So it's a club where we play games together. Of course Rika was the only one to give an answer that made sense. Alright, just what I wanted. I'll take you up on the challenge. Don't be too rough on me, senpai. Tomatake got riled up and did a victory pose, like he was 10 years younger. Perfect. We continued walking through the festival with Mion in the front. Now we looked like a family of 6. It had some intensity to it. Okay, what's their first game with him? Same rules as always. The loser will, of course, be subject to a penalty. Tomatake was a bit surprised, but to us, it was the same as any. Always. Regardless of how terrible a penalty it was. Just don't lose. Reina was also brewing with determination. She didn't have any intention of losing. That's true. I tussled Reina's hair to light the mood. She giggled to hide her embarrassment. What's the first game? I see. This is what it means to feel like a kid again. Tomatake whispered that to nobody in particular. At that moment, we heard an old man call out in a strong voice. Looking over, I realized it was the man Mion greeted right before the festival. Oh, you're here, little Miss Sonozaki. It seems you brought quite the crowd. We came to eradicate your entire stall. His stall was a shooting gallery. The usual setup where he had to knock down the prize he wanted with a cork gun. The rules are simple. 3 shots. The winner is whoever gets the biggest prize. Wait, what? Everyone shouted their agreement. There was no need to consider how to win. The condition was simply size. The biggest prize at the stall, it went without question. It was that one, wasn't it? The teddy bear? Cute. Reina was gazing longingly at a large stuffed animal. So are they going to go for the teddy bear or just go for something in general? I mean, usually it's really hard to score anything in these games, so... aiming for the teddy bear might be like, bait. Might be bait. There's almost no way you knock down like a giant teddy bear with one of those guns. With like one of those super undertuned guns. I'd probably aim for something pretty easy to hit. I'd aim for something that's like relatively easy to hit and probably easy to score. It was intentionally placed on an unsteady platform, so it was possible to get if you hit just the right spot, like 20 times, yeah, sure. 20 times, maybe. It's magnificently set up to make someone think that. Not bad, Keiichi-san. I figured you'd see through this game instantly. The most logical course would be to aim for some candy or a doll. The intent analysis had already begun. In this club, you get eaten alive if you don't come prepared. Everything hinges on what plan you can come up with before the main event. At some point, a loud crowd gathered around us, making a big fuss. There is this much of a following for our event? Knocking that bear down ensures a win. Only 3 shots. Use them all just trying. That'd be rough. Hey, I have other customers waiting, you know. Who's up first? The first one here is the advantage of being able to aim for easier prizes, but it's dangerous to compete without knowing the gun's quirks. Yeah, who's going first? Tomatake's take on the situation was pretty good. He gets what our club's about. Well then, to be fair, how about rock, paper, scissors to decide? That's the only way. Rock, paper, scissors. Alright. Playing Jankenpon. Alright, after a couple of matches, it ended up with Mion being first. I didn't want to end up first. I'll think of it as a handicap. Gramps, gun! Here you go. When the shooting range guy handed her a rifle, she looked over intently. She didn't forget to check the cork bullet either. Okay. This gun's brand new, isn't it? No faults? Not bad. Mion raised the gun in a swift motion. It was completely different from her careful inspection. She was shooting from the hip. Hip fire? I thought you wanted accuracy. What? Pop. Reload. Pop. Reload. Fire. Flop. Flop, flop. 3 candy boxes fell, one after the other. A big haul. The crowd paused in a moment of awe and erupted in cheers. Awesome! She instantly scored 3 prizes in 3 shots. That's pretty good. That was quite good. Tomatake was at a loss for words after seeing such shooting prowess. Amazing, Michin. 3 for 3. Her accuracy was incredible. Her choice of targets, not bad either. The 3 Mion went after were fairly large and easy to knock over. All targets with a high return on investment. Who's next? Satoko? Careful, the bullets are light. Next was Satoko. The rifle looked a bit big for her lithe body, but it didn't seem like she had any problems with the weight. I mean, it's a cork gun, they're not very hard to handle, I imagine. Of course, I shall aim for the grand prize. She proclaimed she was going after the teddy bear. Damn, Satoko, that's a bold move. The moment she knocks it over, she's guaranteed first. Good luck, Satoko. Satoko was the opposite of Mion. She aimed at the target carefully and squeezed the trigger. bullets are too light. The first 2 bullets struck the bear in the torso, but it only shifted a bit. You need to aim higher towards the head or it won't work. Toko's 3rd bullet wasn't aimed at the bear, but at the candy box below its arm. I hate to say it, but it appears the bear is just too much for me. She went boldly after the big catch, but since she switched over to less impressive prey at the last second, the crowd only gave a strained laugh. Were they laughing because she lacked the courage? These fools know nothing. A fine attempt, Satoko. You've gotten better. The palm of Mion's outstretched hand went as it tapped down lightly on Satoko. She appeared to be just talking hot air, but this was actually completely calculated. Damn, that's Satoko. Just to avoid being in last, she dared switched over to an easy target. Without shame or honor. To be fair, getting last can suck a lot. Though we don't know what the penalty for this game is. Magnificent. I'll allow you to take the bear, Reina-san. I pray for your victory. Okay. Thanks so much, Satoko. A bear's so cute. Reina was up next. Okay, she couldn't hit the broadside of a barn as regular Reina, but she said that bear was cute. I wonder how Reina will do. I hope she's able to hit at least one. You're underestimating Reina, Tomatake. It's Reina, you know? It's Reina Ryugu, you know? If it was to get that teddy bear... Tomatake's wheeled around to see what the commotion the spectators are making was about. If it was to get that bear, she'd be able to... if it was to get that bear, she'd shoot through a pinhole. It's pretty hard to do with a cork bullet. The one known as Reina could do it. It's shaking so cute. Reina couldn't hide her excitement over the bear's slow rocking. Now Reina couldn't lose. Not bad, Reina-san. The less collected you become, the stronger you get. Madness. What? Another big cheer. Reina's bullet hit the bear's forehead again. Not enough. The bear seemed to wobble more than before. It might not be possible. You never know. You never know. With Reina's skill, it might be. While Tomatake was just as excited as the crowd, Rika's analysis was not swayed by emotion. If Reina had 10 more shots, she could surely knock it over. Oops. I didn't mean to scroll up there. But with just one more, no matter how you looked at it, no go. Oh. The crowd let out a dejected groan. She'd shot it right in the forehead 3 times. It was a bit late, but they gave her a good round of applause for the attempt. There, said, take him home. Oh. I'm sorry, Reina. She should be praised for her valor, but she had no trophies to show for it. Looks like at least one person's getting last. At that moment, the old man flicked one of the candy boxes with his finger and handed it to Reina. This is for you, little lady. What? You're giving this to me? The gods wouldn't forgive me if I let you go home empty-handed after such a display. There was another shower of applause. Reina turned bright red and I pulled her back over to us by her hand. Good job. Your cute mode really surprised me. Yeah, 3 headshots, no success. That's what it's like when you play most Japanese crane game variants and stuff. Oh boy. Lots of attempts to get any progress. I really wanted Mr. Bear. It was easy to see, it only needed a little bit more to be knocked over. Reina had done quite a lot for me. I still needed to pay her back for that delicious picnic. Alright, then I'll get it and give it to you. What? Tomatake had stolen the words right out of my mouth. Okay. Please, Tomatake-san. Good luck. Damn you, old man Tomatake. Stealing the good parts for yourself. A small hand stretched over and gently fell on my head before I was overcome with frustration. Thanks, Rika. You won't find it too, Keiichi, okay? Tomatake-san carefully studied the bear. Setting his sights, he shouldered the rifle while holding the other 2 shots in his hand. Why is he doing that? Yes, no doubt. Tomatake is aiming for... The time between shots was short. It was meaningless to shoot again once it stopped shaking, so Tomatake was relying on rapid fire to win the battle. It was visibly wobbling more than it ever had before, but that was all. It still didn't fall. Too bad. All of Reina's momentary expectation from watching it sway violently turned into a dejected sigh. I really thought it would work. Ha ha, it seems since you're a man, you won't be receiving any candy. That was it. It meant Tomatake had no spoils of war. So both Kay and Rika can just shoot down a small easy prize and avoid being dead last. Avoid being the loser, huh? Oh, sorry about that. It's your turn next, Keiichi. Best of luck. I was the 5th shooter. I took the rifle from Tomatake. If I took the ruthless course as Mion suggested, I'd go for a small target. Except, when I picked up the rifle, I got a feeling from it. It was burning passion. Passed down to me by Tomatake-san. The regret of not being man enough to fell the bear that Reina wanted. That's right. If I didn't aim for the bear, I wouldn't be a man. After all, that was my promise to Reina. What promise? What? To shoot down that bear and give it to Reina. That one. You mean that? The crowd went wild when they saw our conversation. This crowd is easily swayed, but alright. Cool, Nishin, you got balls, man. That's not it, fine men of the crowd. If I didn't do this, Reina might mug the old man running the stall on his way home. Why do you assume Reina's so violent? She hasn't been very violent at all. That's not it. That's not it at all. Why can't I express my honest feelings? By the time you do, it'll be too late. Keiichi surely talks the talk. But how do you intend to bring down the bear? Reina and Tomatake-sans did make it tilt a bit, but I think finishing the job will be difficult. Keiichi. If only there was some way to shoot faster, I'd be able to pile more power on the sway from each hit. Good luck, Keiichi. After taking 2 deep breaths, I shouted over to the guy. 2 more rifles! What? The crowd murmured amongst themselves. I wonder what Keiichi's up to. Hold all 3, click, 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 if they don't have trigger guards? One person can't handle 3 rifles at once. I get it. Nice thinking, Kei-chan. Mion was able to figure it out magnificently. What was taking the most time was reloading the shot. That's right. They were putting 3 preloaded rifles next to each other. Tomatake went silent, peering at me and the bear through his lens. His photographer's blood predicted a miracle would occur, and the crowd picked up on what I was planning. They let out a great cheer. Come on! Come on, Keiichi! They chanted my name! What crowd? Did the crowd even know this kid's name? Alright. I guess all the villagers presumably know it. Rapid fire is the key. If I miss, all is for naught. After letting out a deep breath, I paused. Relax. Now. That moment, it felt like time itself had stopped. I felt like I could see the trajectory of the bullets. Hit it. And knock it down. The first shot hit the bear on its head. The second. The third! The bear swayed hard, and then... And then? And then? Woo! There we go! Keiichi gets it! The cheers began before the stuffed animal even finished falling off the shelf. The guy caught it before it hit the ground and tossed it over to me. You actually knocked it over. You got me! Amazing. Congratulations, Keiichi-kun! Keiichi has finally learned how to use his head. I see you in a slightly better light now. I didn't do it by myself. Everyone hit it, and those small bits together brought it down. This trophy belongs to all of us. Right, this is for all of us working together. Me didn't hit it a single time. After holding up the teddy bear like it was a championship trophy, I handed it to Reina. Here. This is from me. No, from everyone. Thanks for making your delicious lunches. Reina, thinking she never was gonna get it, was momentarily speechless. I can't. This is everyone's after all. In that case, I was the one who knocked it down, and it's mine. It's mine, so I'm giving it to Reina. I pushed the stuffed animal toward her again. This time, she embraced and accepted it. You've watched out for me ever since I moved here, after all. I'm grateful, you see. Thanks a lot. Keiichi-kun, thanks so much. Reina dove at me. Mion told me a few days later that Reina kissed me, but I didn't realize it during all the excitement at the time. I remembered what I was trying to say to Tomatake-san earlier. There really isn't much of anything here. But there are lots of things you can't find anywhere else. I gained a lot from coming to Hinamizawa, especially at that moment. The crowd's cheers echoed on and on. Well, there was the game. That was a pretty good round. I was curious to see what Tomatake would do. Looks like he's just support here. He's not going to win, and looks like he's probably lost. From the altar set up in front of the shrine, the drums sounded with a booming echo. It was the finale of the festival. Oh, yeah, it looks like Rika's going. I'll be going up ahead then. See you later, Rika. Oh, I need to go around and get myself a good spot too. Well, everyone, see you in a bit. No punishment games today, I guess. Both Rika and Tomatake gave their farewells and disappeared into the crowd. I wish both of you the best in your endeavors. Now, shall we be off? Might as well go see Rika's charming figure. Let's go. Wait, where's Rena? What are you doing? Kenji-kun, Michi-chan, save me! Just she was carrying such a ridiculously large stuffed animal. She was being carried by the flow of people. What is she doing? She must have her hands full taking care of that bear. Oh, it's like one of those comically oversized bears that's like bigger than a 12-year-old, so it's actually taller than her. I'll leave Rena in your chair, Kay. I have my hands full taking care of Sutoko. Who'd want to be looked after by you, Mion-san? Ouch, please don't pull on my arm. Guess we gotta guard Rena. Before losing sight of Mion, I grabbed the back of Rena's collar. Keiichi, not there, don't grab me there. Always so bossy. Where can I grab then? I didn't feel ashamed at all. Rena was ashamed enough for both of us. I grabbed onto her hand and dashed after Mion and the others. We're gonna be late, let's hurry. Yeah. I hadn't realized Rena's hand was so delicate. Maybe she needed more exercise and nutrition? That wasn't what I meant. Not at all. My ears burned. That's right. Your hand is soft, smooth, and delicate. Maybe you need more food. I tried to keep calm. I repeated the phrase, keep it together, Keiichi Maibara, in my head, but it didn't look like I'd be able to anytime soon. I really didn't want Rena to see my face right then, so I pushed onwards, dragging her along without looking back once. I hope she didn't drop the bear. There was already a huge crowd of people gathered at the altar in front of the shrine. Okay. So, things are still pretty chill, but I hear the main plot might kick in after the festival. Your greed says keep rolling. I know this chat will tell you to keep rolling. The answer is no. Don't save for Castrotoria. Don't save in a gacha game. Just spend. But you do what you think is wise. Does the math say you will get Castrotoria if you spend? Do you want to risk spending? Fire at the altar made it as bright as midday and just as hot. There was a pile of futons warded with sanctified rope in front of the altar. Come to think of it, they did say it was a festival where they did something with cotton and futons. They throw them in the river, I think is what they said. I'm just imagining someone like burning futons on an altar to pray for like a good night's rest. Like, you know, they can sacrifice a lamb, they can sacrifice a goat, they can sacrifice a cow, and then there's this weird guy who's like burning his mattress. He's like, you're supposed to burn something valuable, so I burned the most valuable thing I had, this mattress. It's so nice. Keiichi, Rena, we're over here. Stoko waved her hand from the front row. There must be a really thin crowd if they can make it to the front row without any trouble. Sorry, making your way through the mass of people, we reached the spot they'd saved. How was it? Were you able to have a little excitement with Rena? That's what your plan was? Instead of replying, Mion gave us a perverse grin. How was it, Rena? Was Kei-chan's hand bigger than you thought it would be? I mean, she knew we'd be doing lewd shit. Hand holding? Absolutely disgusting. But here we are. Here we are in the 20th century, already holding hands. We kissed and now we're holding hands, all in one night. And in public. They moved... I guess kids in the 80s move fast. Real fast. Reina turned bright red, puffs of steam shooting out of her. I heard something slice through the air and turned around to see Mion on the ground with a welt on their face. Mion, when were you hit? Between the hat and... Oh, how, I think. Reina, it's not good to punch your friends to hide your embarrassment. I didn't hit her. Whatever. I didn't hit her. Whatever. The thunderous beat of the drum echoed, silencing the crowd. Oh, everyone be quiet. It's beginning. It was a solemn ritual. Rika entered dressed as a shrine maiden, followed by members of the municipal committee. The elders looked at Rika and clasped their hands in praise. The only thing allowed to disturb the profound silence was the flash from Tomatake's camera. What's the big thing Rika's holding? A hoe that's used for this festival. A hoe. The magical hoe. Alright. It's a sacred farming tool only the shrine maiden may touch. It was an awkward shape for a piece of farm equipment, not uncommon for something used in rituals. After reciting a Shinto prayer, Rika approached the pile of futons gathered at the altar. She swung the hoe skillfully, plowing it into the futons. Each and every movement of this performance probably had to be done in a certain way. Without a doubt, this was a ritual. That's right, we're hacking futons to pieces with a hoe. Alright. Quite the serious ritual. What's next? Airing out the futons? She's purifying futons that absorbed illnesses from people over the winter. So when Kei said airing out futons, he wasn't completely wrong. Rika-chan's face was already dripping with sweat. That hoe is probably really heavy. People usually are. She staggered side to side with the momentum of each swing. Stoko looked on, silently lending her support. Worried. Rika practiced every day with a mochi hammer. Every single day? Damn, that's a lot of work. Right. She'll certainly prevail. Satoko's hands were sweaty whenever Rika started to sway a little. She held her breath. Okay. Come on. You can do it, Rika. Flimsy though you may be, I believe in you. Why wasn't Mion a candidate to be Shrine Maiden? It feels wrong having Rika swing around something so heavy. I'd do it if they asked me, you know. That sounds like Mion. And well, it's not just something just anyone could do. I mean, I feel like Mion is like slightly out of control and irresponsible, so maybe it's better for Rika. It's true, it's true. Shrine Maidens need to be pure, after all. Oh! Mion drove her elbow into my side. You deserve that. With the thud of the big drum, Rika gave a solemn bow and descended from the altar, triggering a round of generous applause, apparently. After the priests had raised up the cleansed futons like a portable altar, all the spectators stood up. They've purified the futons. Following after the priests, we marched on it at a moderate pace. They descended the shrine's giant stairs in a line. What now? Washing the futons in the river? Yeah, they throw them in the river. We've already heard of that. Haha, Watanagashi means setting cotton adrift, you know. Today you learned something. Watanagashi, setting cotton adrift. The procession continued right up to the bank of the stream. A fire was stoked high and it was bright as day here too. People started crowding around it and clamoring. Alright, get in line. Line up, Kichi. I wondered what was up. Maybe we'd get some holy wine? Red and white bean buns? Haha, it's not food. I said it was cotton. But of course, they didn't call it the Watanagashi for nothing. I finally understood. The municipal committee members pulled out the cotton from inside the futons and balled it up like mochi, handing it out to people. Reina dove into the line and brought out some for me as well. We then proceeded to the bank of the stream. If it's your first time, just copy what I do. She held the cotton in her right hand and, waving her hand as if to purify it, touched it to her forehead, chest, navel, and both thighs. Do this 3 times and silently give thanks to Oyashiro-sama. Oyashiro? Is that the name of the shrine's god? The guardian deity of Hinamizawa. Brings both miracles and curses, so you best be sure to show respect. That sounded like a pretty frightening god. But, well, when in Rome. I was officially a resident of Hinamizawa now, after all. Doing as Reina showed me, I touched the cotton over myself 3 times. Thank you, Oyashiro-sama. Thank you, Oyashiro-sama. This way, all the evil you possess is sucked out by the cotton. You let it gently drift away on the stream, and you're done. Together, Reina and I set our pieces of cotton afloat on the surface of the water. The flowers of cotton blooming in the water had sucked out all the evil festering in Hinamizawa and drifted off, disappearing into the distance. All the evils of a city coalescing in a river delta? It was wonderful, like those floating lantern festivals I'd seen on TV. The best part, though, was feeling like this rite of passage made me a true resident of Hinamizawa. And that's the festival. Alright. Well, that was an interesting festival. That was quite creative. I think they did a good job with that. While staring off into the stream, I somehow got separated from Reina. Oh, it's not over yet. Alright. I wasn't very lonely, though. I know this place now. This is where I live, my home. It's probably better if I just stay here instead of wandering aimlessly. Someone would surely find me while I'm enjoying the evening breeze. I heard a familiar voice. It was Tomatake's. I headed towards it. How'd it go, Tomatake? Any good shots? Fortunately, Tomatake was with a girl. I felt a little like I was intruding. How was it, Keiichi? Did you enjoy the festival? From the way she spoke, it seemed like she was a resident of Hinamizawa. I really should try harder to remember people's faces here. What was her name? Well, it was fun. My face must have given it away how desperately I was trying to remember her name, because she gave a lighthearted chuckle. It's probably because it hasn't been long since you moved here. It's pretty hard to believe, seeing how friendly you've gotten with the other kids. If that's how it looked, it probably all thanks to Reina and Mion. Perhaps you feel more like a resident after taking part in the festival today? I wonder about that. It's not like you. I tried to get used to Hinamizawa, but there were still plenty of things I didn't know. The faces of people I'd met, for example. Things that had happened in the past as well. Oh. You're feeling left out because of something like that? It's not so much as feeling left out. It's just I'm not sure how to say it. That incident at the damn construction site. The fighting over it and other conflicts. A terrible incident they pretended they didn't even know about whenever I brought it up. Even though it was in the past, as someone living in Hinamizawa, it wasn't wrong to know what happened, both the good and the bad. Yeah, that seems reasonable. I'm with you. I'm with you, Keiichi. If it will put you at ease, I'll tell you everything I know. Tomatake's smile made me more relieved than I'd ever been. It was hard to think of what to ask when someone said, "Ask me anything, though." I don't know, it seems like there's a lot of Reddit AMAs and people seem to manage to come up with a couple questions, even when there's so much I want to ask. Did you tell me about what happened when the dam was being built? There was a big incident where Hinamizawa was going to be submerged, right? I think the locals would be more knowledgeable about the dam than I am. Well, if you don't mind, I'll tell you what I know. It's only what I read in the newspaper, though. Oh, apparently I need a drink. Hard to see a BB. Tomatake's eyes entered an unfocused state as he searched through his memory and then he spoke. Okay, so he'll give us his information, which is like external information. The decision to start the dam project was finalized 7 or 8 years ago. And again, it's good to get information from him because fucking no locals will tell us jack shit about this. I heard it was the next major project after Kurobe. I don't actually know about the Kurobe project, but okay. There were 3 major issues in Japan at that time. Inter-island transportation infrastructure, meeting higher demand for electricity, and flood control. There was a boom of dam building due to the massive economic stimulus they provided on top of generating electricity and flood control. Yep, that's pretty good. Electricity and flood control at the same time. Hinamizawa had the right conditions to support dam construction, so it was singled out. The dam reservoir would have covered quite a lot of ground when it was completed. The entire area right up to Yakuuchi, way upstream, would be underwater. But why a populated area like Hinamizawa? Couldn't they have instead picked a place where nobody lived? I'm not sure why. I heard it was just the right terrain for building a dam. Of course, there were protests here in Hinamizawa. Rika said there was a battle. From that choice of words, I had to guess things turned violent. There was a trial, and it was even brought up before the National Diet. It was covered in the Tokyo newspapers, too. Mion told me all about that as well. I'm sure every resident of Hinamizawa had united to fight together. The feeling of solidarity found here, which could not be expressed properly with mere words, was likely brought about by that battle. So why did our father choose to move here? As a result, bribery and scandals were brought to light. As things got more and more complicated, they eventually halted construction. If I wanted to know, now is my only chance to ask. It was certainly a bizarre incident that boys my age would be curious about. I felt a little ashamed for the fact that I was petty enough to have my curiosity piqued by Reina and Mion's refusal to talk about the event, but I figured I might as well ask since I had the chance. Just so I could stop thinking about it so much. So, there was a dismemberment, right? There was. I happened to be here in Hinamizawa at the time, so I remember it well. Tomatake's answer was nonchalant in contrast to my hesitantly forced out question. It was about this time, 4 years ago. It was the day of the Watanagashi, if I recall correctly. Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why he's here every year. He's trying to get a clue as to what's going on. Debate on whether to continue construction on the dam was in disarray. Scandal after scandal rocked the project near the end. The incident that was the final nail in the coffin for the dam project. A fight at the dam construction site ended in the victim being murdered. During prosecution, the assailants divided the remains into 6 pieces and hid each one. 5 of the 6 turned themselves in out of guilt, but 1 was still on the run. The right arm he'd hidden was yet to be found. The details lined up with what was in the tabloid I'd read earlier. It certainly was a tragic incident, but not so terrible that Reina and Mion needed to hide it from me. I guess they didn't want someone who just moved here to have a negative impression of Hinamizawa. I felt grateful for having friends so worried about me, as well as shame for being so interested in it. Maybe it wasn't just... You think it could have been a ritual? You think it could have been a ritual? Do you think they could have cut him up and the last limb could have been, like, used in a ritual or some shit? Are all the villagers in on this? Or at least all the adults? How grim is this story going to be? Let's see. It seems like on a scale of 1 to 10, it's going to be like a 3, but we'll see. Alright, thanks friends. It was near the end of all the trouble with the dam, you see. Everyone was saying it was Oyashiro-sama's curse. Oyashiro's curse, huh? Oyashiro-sama was the name of the god at the shrine that held the festival, if I recall correctly. I see. Their guardian deity rained divine punishment down on the evil dam construction for trying to flood Hinamizawa. Apparently the younger ones didn't think so, but it seems the elderly never doubted it was Oyashiro-sama's curse. The one with Tomatake said with a mischievous smile. Tomatake began laughing with her. It was so infectious I ended up laughing as well. But I wonder about now. There are quite a few, I think. Amongst the youth, too. A few what? Believers. People who believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse. The woman's lips were curled into a smile, but her expression turned stern. And after that, it continued every year. Always around this time. Continued? What continued? Tomatake paused for a second as if to build up suspense, and then he whispered to me as if someone might have been listening. Every year, on the day of the Watanagashi, somebody dies. The year following the dismemberment on the day of the Watanagashi, a man from Hinamizawa who had supported the dam fell off a cliff overlooking some rapids and died while he was on vacation. Unfortunately for his wife, the body was never recovered. He supported the dam construction even though he lived in Hinamizawa. At the time, there were whispers amongst the elderly saying it was Oyashiro-sama's curse. The woman chuckled mischievously again. And then the next year, the night of the Watanagashi, the shrine's Shinto priest died suddenly from an unknown illness. His wife drowned herself in the bog that night. The shrine's Shinto priest? The one from the shrine here? The woman nodded. There was a rumor amongst the villagers they weren't able to quell Yashiro-sama's anger. The year after that, again on the night of the Watanagashi, they discovered the battered body of a local housewife. Housewife? Up until now, all these deaths were people involved in the dam who had connections with Oyashiro-sama. With that in mind, could the housewife have been involved in some way? Exactly, the woman stated slyly. No, it was more menacingly. One of the victim's relatives, you see, was connected to the younger brother of the dam supporter who fell to his death 2 years before. The younger brother is still alive, it seems, but it did bother him quite a bit, so he moved to the neighboring town. For a while, I stood with my mouth agape. The battle over the dam construction, with Hinamizawa's future at stake, and the murder at the center of it all. That's all I knew, and all I wanted to ask about. But that wasn't all there was to the story. Homicide, body disposal, accidental deaths, terminal illness, suicide, fatal beatings. I'm a pretty level-headed person. I don't really want to believe in curses. But the freakish deaths happened every year on the day of the Watanagashi, and all of them were related to the dam construction. It's pretty easy to dismiss them as coincidences by themselves. When you put them all together, dismissing all of them as coincidence would defy logic. Serial killer. Serial killer is perfectly reasonable as an explanation. I don't believe in curses. But every single year on the same day, someone or something makes it happen without fail. The woman chuckled as if she picked up on what I was thinking. It felt like she was saying, maybe there was. Maybe we frightened him, stuff like that. I felt embarrassed at being read so easily. I pressed Tomatake to continue with a bit of impatience and irritation in my tone. And then? So someone died next year, right? Who was it that time? I wonder, who do you think, Keiichi-kun? The hell? The way he said it didn't agree with me. Sarcastic tone ticked me off. Don't avoid the question. I'm serious here. Hey, calm down, Keiichi. I realized when she tried to calm me down, I had been panicking. We aren't trying to avoid the question, Keiichi. It's just, when you say the next year, that's this year, right? That's today. When she hesitated to say it, Tomatake finished for her. I broke into a cold sweat. I really didn't like the direction this was headed. Nobody wants to speak of it, but they all think it's going to happen again tonight. The festival was so cheerful, though. Well, the victim last year, the housewife, she was a non-believer. It turns out she didn't even attend the Watanagashi festival. Interesting. There's a rumor going around if you didn't participate in the festival, you'd incur Oyashiro-sama's wrath. Didn't you hear anything about this, Keiichi-kun? I never even heard a whisper of that rumor. The reason everyone was at the festival was they're afraid of the curse? I figured that must have been the reason. There were a lot more people at the Watanagashi than usual. I guess everyone was just afraid after all. Oyashiro's-sama's curse. I couldn't utter a single word. Damn. So, the festival is Serocratic because literally every single person in the town is like, if I don't go, I'll be fucking murdered. I don't know if it's serial killer or a ghost, but fuck it, I'm going. In this modern age. Where we've made progress in all scientific fields, shedding light onto the unknown and unmisunderstood. Where black and white television has been eradicated, and we've sent people to the moon. Even with all our accomplishments, this can exist in modern society? Tons of invitations were sent out to neighboring towns' youth groups to help pad the numbers. After that string of events, few decided to join. The municipal committee members were complaining about how hard it was to gather participants. The police are treating each case as isolated. They don't believe they're connected. They're trying to keep it quiet, so it's all plainclothes officers. It finally began to dawn on me why Reina and Mion were reluctant to talk. If nothing happened during this Watanagashi, everything would be over and I'd be none the wiser. If nothing happened, all would be well. In that case, it would all end up being just crazy talk. I should have pretended I knew nothing from the beginning. They wouldn't have to act like nothing happened. And we'd all have gone back to life as usual. So, who's dying? Maybe it was just too much for him after all. Fuin ran her fingers through her hair as she sighed. No, it wasn't. Not at all. I tried to act strong, but that served to emphasize just how much the information had unsettled me. After seeing how I looked, Tomatake-san appeared to regret saying anything. Letting out a sigh, he then spoke, forcing an awkward, upbeat demeanor. Keiichi, surely you don't believe in such things as curses. Well, no. If the causes of all the crimes are unknown with the perpetrators and their methods all mysteries, then I wouldn't think it's the work of a curse. I'd think it's the work of a curse. But that's not how things are in reality. The police are investigating the evidence and suspects to uncover the truth. Hearing him say police made me feel a lot better. It was perfect for repelling the word curse. The first one, the dismemberment, for example. Told you, didn't I? All but one of the perpetrators were arrested. It's only a matter of time for the last one. The motive turned out to have been an argument they had while intoxicated. That's not really a curse. Don't you agree? True, if it didn't happen on the day of the Watanagashi, it wouldn't be related to the curse at all. The accidental death of the man who supported the dam is the same. He was in a position that made others hate him. The police made a point of investigating from that angle. They concluded it was an accident, not foul play. But they both happened on the same day, right? Right? Just think about it, Keiichi. There's only 365 days in a year. Do you think people with a lot of enemies here in Hinamizawa would participate easily in a local festival? It'd be especially hard for them to be around during the Watanagashi. They probably left Hinamizawa intentionally around this time of year to travel, don't you think? It wasn't a clear explanation, but I sort of understood what he was getting at, yeah. So I pressed on earnestly, asking more questions to convince myself. You really think that's going to work? I think all your questions are going to lead you back to despair. Then Tomatake? What about the priest who died? The one with the unknown illness? It also happened on the day of the festival. Even easier to explain. The Watanagashi is a big event that happens once a year. It's probably from all that built-up stress. Or maybe because of a pre-existing condition. But it was unknown. It's hard to believe something with an unknown cause could exist with all our advances in medicine. It's an exaggeration. Rumors making rumors. Anyone would get worked up over having had incidents happen 2 years in a row. The sudden death is quite unnatural, though. Of course, the police ordered an autopsy because of the strange way he died, but there wasn't enough for them to open a full investigation. You know? Might have been a heart attack or some shit. Turns out it was just a sudden death due to illness. The priest's wife committed suicide, right? What about that? I explained that. Everyone was shaken up by incidents happening for a third year. Those who have strong faith were quick to believe it's the work of a curse. Of course, that included the priest's wife. Apparently, they found a suicide note that said something like, "My death will quell Oyashiro-sama's anger." Well, how about the next incident? The housewife? It happened on the same day, too. The perpetrator had already been caught, and the case has been closed. Turns out it was some nut job trying to continue the legacy of the Hinamizawa curse. They already caught the nut job. Damn. All right. And, what about the incident? It's this year. Yeah, this year is the next year. Tomatake gave a hearty laugh. Nothing's gonna happen. Not this year. That's right, guys. It's pure slice of life. There's not gonna be a plot. There was never a curse to begin with. It's just a group of people believed it was the explanation for a string of coincidences. My internal computer finally got itself back on track. I felt a bit embarrassed by how childish I'd been after losing control and panicking. I can see very clearly now that Keiichi-kun really does love Hinamizawa. Even though Yashiro-sama's curse really did exist, Keiichi couldn't bring himself to believe such a thing existed. I felt relieved. I should probably just forget everything I heard tonight. I'll greet Reina and Mion tomorrow with the same smile as always. They'd probably also like tonight to end with that incident so they can continue on tomorrow without having worried me. Perhaps seeing my change in attitude, the woman who had been listening in stretched as she got up from the rocks she was sitting on. Well then, I should be getting back. Oh goodness, I might have gone on a bit too long. There were so few people compared to the crowd from before, I could only make out a few groups of families enjoying the cool evening air. I looked at my watch. It seemed like we've been talking for the better part of an hour. Remember when people actually wore watches? Speaking of watches, Tomatake does not have a watch, and neither does his girlfriend here. Which is moderately surprising. That said, this guy seems like he lifts and takes pictures, and that's all he does with his whole life. But again, he's wearing dog tags, so he might be in the Japanese military, so... Or Japanese Defense Force, right? I mean, most people don't wear dog tags around, okay? Most people do not wear dog tags and camouflage as part of their everyday outfits. Didn't you come along with your friends, Keiichi-kun? Not going to go look for them? Oh, yeah. They might all be looking for me. You're quite the scoundrel making girls look for you. See you, Keiichi. Have a nice night. You too, Jiro-san. I'll see you later. Tomatake seems to be quite the scoundrel himself. So his name is Jiro. So, his name's Jiro, but we call him Tomatake. Alright. After dusting off her backside, she disappeared into the crowd, still busy cleaning up the shrine grounds. Okay, Reina's not dead. Good. Good. I was slightly worried we'd have Reina killed off right away. Keiichi-kun, so sorry. In her place, Reina came running over. I could see all the others behind her. Speak of the devil. My bad, Kei-chan. We got so caught up in our discussion. I'd completely forgot about them, well, caught up in my own conversation, so I guess we're even. Bye, so Tomatake-san, what's with you? This works out perfectly. We still need to settle the shooting gallery competition. That's right. Well, I guess I'm ending up dead last. In the end, after my dramatic victory, Rika was the last challenger, but there weren't many targets left. The ones remaining were tiny and difficult to hit. She did take her time and aim, but all 3 shots missed. She was to end up sharing the loser's crown with Tomatake. However, she did her little mewling cry in front of the owner, and he turned to mush instantly. She was given a pack of gum as a consolation prize. Oh, it's such BM, but alright. Her methods were audacious, but she did avoid being the loser rather magnificently. Is that magnificently? Yeah, okay. Come to think of it, Rika is quite the trickster. I have no idea what Keiichi is talking about. Now then, it's decided that Tomatake is dead last. Everyone cheered and applauded. Tomatake smiled wryly, slightly bewildered. So, Tomatake, are you ready? Penalty time. Yeah, I forgot about that. Too naive. This is why our club can never lose. Mion pulled a felt tip marker from her pocket. Oh, it's that. Show him some mercy, Mion. At least use a washable marker. Permanent's too harsh. It just has to be permanent. It comes off when you do the laundry anyway. What's this? Please take it easy on me. All of us pinned his arms behind his back and Mion approached him with a marker in one hand. And squip, squip, squip. But she didn't write on his face. She wrote on the shirt he was wearing. You better have your big break this year, sighed Mion. Reina took off the marker next. Show me your photos next time, okay? Reina. It was a little heartwarming and I just had to laugh. This is more like a farewell card than a penalty. I'm not as soft as the rest. I'll make sure this is a proper penalty. Haha, dead last, Satoko. Try harder next time, Rika. Here you go, Keiichi-san. I couldn't decide what to write, but based on the penalty, this was probably the most appropriate. Come back and play again, Keiichi. Tomatake was silent the entire time. At first he was quite bewildered, but now he had a different look on his face. So I have to wear this all the way back to Tokyo as part of the penalty. Of course! You better wear it all the way home. You could wear it when you come back. It'd be nice. He appeared deeply moved. Embarrassment mixed with a wealth of other emotions made him turn a bright red. Understood. I'll wear this next time I come here. I promise. Everyone cheered and applauded. It was the finest parting gift possible for a buddy heading out tonight. I saw the woman who was with Tomatake standing near the festival grounds. It seemed he'd noticed her too and knew it was time to leave. Seems like your guest is waiting. Isn't it about time? Hmm? Hmm? Yeah, that's certainly how it seems. Tomatake headed off towards her and seemed to apologize for making her wait. We all shouted stuff at him. Each time we did, he looked back and waved his hand. Eventually, he faded into the darkness of the night, out of sight. Never to be heard from again? It was quite the casual farewell. This wasn't the first time any of us had seen anyone off. They'd done the same thing many times before. He's gone. Well, it's about time we take off too. Marika had to stay behind with the other committee members since they're having a meeting, so Toko is tagging along with her. I headed back home with the usual suspects. The walk back was quite lively, with talk of the day's war stories. Should have done this, should have done that kind of stuff. Reina and I parted ways with Mion, and then it was just the two of us. We got back to my house, and I parted ways with Reina as well. It's pretty late. Are you alright by yourself? Yeah, I'm fine. Okay, Reina. It's close. I'm gonna run, too. If you run into some weirdo, just yell. If someone does come, will you come and save me? Maybe? Maybe? If I hear you. Okay, I'll scream loud enough so you can hear me. Merrily spinning her arms around at high speed, Reina dashed off. She was fine. In that mode, not even an adult could stand against her. Her cheerful presence disappeared and it finally became quiet again. The curse that not even a single person whispered about. The more I learned about it tonight, the more unsettling it became. It didn't show on their faces, but they were probably all quite concerned about it as well. But if nothing happens tonight, then it all ends up being crazy talk. Nothing'll happen. No, nothing bad, nothing at all. What's wrong, Keiichi? Why are you standing in a place like that? Come on inside. You're catching cold. Catching cold. It was my mom. Did you go, Mom? To Watanagashi? In the end, your father didn't wake up, so I missed it. A little disappointing. Mom stuck her tongue out with a bit of an embarrassed look on her face. Sweats. Oh no. Oh no. They're like the only two people in town who didn't go? Are they next? Are they next? Is his father going to die? New tips. The falling incident, okay. Tips on all the murders. Alright. Let's look at the new tips. They've given us just a few of these. Just a few this chapter. Just a few. From June 1980 edition. On the afternoon of, I don't know, June the 2nd, at 2 p.m., office employee John and his wife Mary of Hinamizawa Village in Shishibon Prefecture disappeared after falling 27 meters from the observatory platform in Shirakawa Prefecture. Rest in peace. Police and firefighters searched downstream and discovered the body of John at around 7 p.m. that evening. His wife, Mary, has yet to be found. They used different numbers of X's for his wife's name in two places. I'm moderately bothered by that. The search has run into difficulties due to the effects of Typhoon 3 from the previous day. It appeared a railing at the observatory that the Smiths leaned on had broken, causing him to fall. The groundskeeping staff was questioned by the police in regards to the facility deterioration and if park maintenance was performed properly. Okay, that was pretty straightforward. That's just like newspaper clipping with some basic details. Seems fair. June 1981 edition. On the afternoon of June the 2nd, around 10 p.m., in a district of Hinamizawa Village in Shishibon Prefecture, the Shinto priest of the Farude Shrine passed away after an existing condition he was recovering from suddenly worsened. So he had, like, cancer? Okay. Parties close to the deceased said he was suffering from anxiety issues concerning the festival which was to be held that day. After Makoto's death, his wife, Jane, went missing, leaving behind a farewell note. The police and local youth association continued the search. However, given the presence of the farewell message and the fact that the Onikakushi marsh is said to be bottomless, they've run into some difficulties. Namely, it's probably not worth it to invest tons of resources into that. Okay. You could theoretically cope a marsh really well, it's just really expensive and takes a shit ton of manpower. Generally not worth it for a body. It wasn't reported in the newspaper. Oh, the murder wasn't reported in the newspaper. Okay. So all that tip said was, not in the newspaper, sorry. It's a newspaper clipping. No newspapers. Alright. This is Okinomiya Station calling Unit 3. Unit 3, please respond. This is Unit 3. Loud and clear. Backup heading your way. Hold position until further instructions. Over. Roger. Unit 3 acknowledged. Requesting no headlights. Requesting radio silence. Station, the doctor arrived. They want to carry it away. What's the order? Over. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Leave it to the doctor. Affirmative. Understood. Backups arrived. Should we let them take a photo first? I think the Vic is done for. And that's the radio log of the murder that they found the culprit for? Okay. So those are the murders that we were just discussing. At least descriptions from the newspaper and what appears to be a radio log from the police. Okay. Okay. So we got... So, has anyone died? Good morning. Nice job yesterday, Kei-chan. You didn't do so badly yourself, Mia. Yesterday was fun. Oh, that's right, Keiichi-kun. Thank you very much. For Mr. Bear. I'm glad you like it. Don't use it as a pincushion, though. I wouldn't. Okay. Still chatting happily, we entered the classroom, but the moment I stepped into the room, a splashing sound and a nasty sensation. A bucket filled to the brim with water, and unfortunately my foot stepped right into it. Were you not looking where you were walking? My, now, how diligent of you to mop the floor this morning. Clump, clump, clump. Ah, Keiichi-san flicked my forehead. You should set a more brutal trap next time. Seeing that, Reina began to swoon as Mion looked on dejectedly. Everything was the same as always. So none of our main cast is dead. Everybody was there and nothing felt out of place. The uncertainties I'd had in the back of my mind since yesterday had vanished. What is it, Keiichi-kun? Didn't get enough sleep, maybe? Maybe? I slept like a log, but if you want, I'll do it a reenactment during class. You shouldn't do that. Mion alerted us the teacher was coming, so everyone shuffled off to their seats. Good morning, everyone. So yesterday was the festival. Thank you to all the people who stayed until the very end to help clean up. We were all slackers, none of us actually helped clean up. Actually, I had a feeling the only thing we did was run around the festival and cause a ruckus. Okay, this time of year you might see some people here from out of town doing interviews about the festival for magazines. I thought it was the usual stuff, so I was going to tune it out, but then I noticed the different tone in her voice and started paying attention. Here we go. You may be asked questions. Please don't say anything silly or something that could be taken the wrong way. Do you understand? In unison, everyone replied, yes, ma'am. What she'd said was vague, but I understood what she was trying to say. After all, this was the 5th year. There were probably lots of third-rate reporters pouring in, hoping something regarding the curse happened. It did nothing but perpetuate the village's bad image. She was saying, don't spout stupid shit you think is funny, and now I was one of the ones who needed to keep their mouth shut. Found it rather cute how I felt the sense of unity from such a trite thing, if I do say so myself. At least we know why we're supposed to keep our mouth fucking shut. So anyone actually get killed? I was summoned to club activities after school. Since everybody was still pretty tired from yesterday, we spent the day relaxing. Yeah, that wasn't happening. Today, let's play a classic game of deduction. How about this one? Oh, a game from overseas. Looks interesting. Looks interesting. The instructions are in English, but the rules don't seem that hard. I won't lose you here. I'm not too bad at this game. It seems Reina didn't handle this kind of game very well. The rules are, the person who can match the murderer weapon and scene of the crime wins. We're playing Clue. Alright. There were 3 kinds of cards comprised of suspects, weapons, and locations. Yep, we're playing Clue. We're playing Clue. I could see that the names of Mion and Rika were written on the suspect cards. Oh, a card with my name on it as well. There are plenty of different weapons too. Knives, axes, poisons. The locations are pretty nice too, like the living room, the study, the courtyard, the dining room. Wait, isn't Colonel Mustard? Yellow is Colonel Mustard, right? I think yellow includes Colonel Mustard, right? Colonel in the... Let's see, so basically you take out one of each of the cards. These are the answer cards. So we shuffle the remaining cards and hand them out. We ask each other about the cards and figure out the right ones. I see, so the cards nobody has are the true perpetrators. You raise your hand if you know the answer. The game ends and we check if the answer is correct. If you're right, you get a point. If you're wrong, you lose a point. As the game ends, even if no one gets it right, all the cards are gathered up and redistributed. You'll learn as you go. You really have to use your brain. You'll get confused if you don't take notes. The rest you can figure out by playing. So, Mion, what's the penalty this time? Everyone directed their attention to Mion. Let's see, we're all still a little tired from yesterday, so maybe we'll take it easy with a gopher penalty. You'll be asked to rush out and buy stuff for everyone. So, just being asked to buy stuff like drinks and candy, I guess. I feel like the penalty today is pretty simple. I wonder, is it really? Is Keiichi thinking what I'm thinking? Yeah, you don't know what you'll have to buy. I'm betting Mion would send whoever loses to buy stuff like hemorrhoid cream or happy family planning manual or other crazy shit. The cards were lightly shuffled and passed out to each player. The real perpetrator, the correct weapon, and the scene of the murderer have been taken out, so that means all the cards I have in my hand are innocent. I'll go first since I'm the president. I guess, well, Mion? Mion, knife, study. Pick one suspect, weapon, and murder scene, and ask each person. If you have any of those cards, you must say, I have one. However, you don't need to say which you have. Yeah, I got it. Me too. I have one. Oh my, all of them are here. 3 people answered when she asked if they had Mion, knife, and study. That means Mion, knife, and study are all in the clear. Gotta jot that down. Alright. Mion, knife, study. All clear. Then I'll go. Reina, axe, lounge. Only 2 people said they had one. Which means out of Reina, axe, and lounge, one of them is correct and part of the crime. No, even if they say they have the one, they don't have to say how many. It's possible Satoko or Rika have 2 of the cards. Well, Kei-chan is next. Go ahead. Wait, just a little... I'm still sorting things out. The game has me thinking more than I thought. Oh, this feels like it's gonna be tough. Alright, now I have the criminal. What? Already? Here I am spinning in circles and Mion just now raises her hand. The murderer is Rika, in the infirmary with the poison. Well, Mion drew cards from the box and we checked to see if her deduction was right. You're right. All I needed was one more hand. I couldn't tell if it was poison or pistol. I'd never use a pistol. I like killing them slowly with poison. Rika is the sadist. Write that down. Sadistic lolly. Okay. Rika said in a hugely terrifying thing. With such a sweet little face. Damn, Rika. Everyone was making commotion about how they almost had it. Reina and I were left out in the cold, though. How'd you do, Keiichi? I couldn't get it at all. Oh, don't worry. I had no idea either. How can you both be so unsure? You'll both end up in last place together at this rate. That's even worse. Going off buying something together as a couple? What if we end up having to buy the Happy Family Planning Guide? Yeah, how awkward would that be? You have to go off and buy condoms as a couple? That sounds like something Mion would do. I can tell from Keiichi's expression, he's not very good at this game. What? That's not true. I'll show you the true power of Sherlock my bar during the next round. My, that sounds wonderful. I'll give you quite the thrashing. After that, I managed to somewhat grasp the trick behind the game, but I was always a step or two behind. I saw Mion was somehow gleaning information from how the others were asking their questions. That level of experience was just too much. The only way I could stage a comeback was if I became ruthless. I tossed out the concept of deduction and switched over the thought process necessary to win. The important thing isn't to find out the criminal, it's to win the game. Eureka! Okay, what's our plan? Sorry, I need to go to the bathroom. Take your time and squeeze out a nice one. What? Micha, that's gross. I had them hold off the game and headed down the hall. The air was crisp. It showed just how stagnant the air in the classroom was from our body heat. On the school grounds, some of our classmates were still playing around. After spending some time cooling my head, Reina made her way over to me. Keiichi, did you call for me? I did. As I got up from my seat, I winked over at Reina. I'm glad it worked out. I don't want to waste time, so we'll get right to the point. Reina, what's your record at this game we're playing today? She was taken aback. After a moment, she hesitantly opened her mouth. All losses. Why do you ask, I wonder? I could tell from how apprehensive she was playing. The way things are going, I will as well. I can't figure a way to pull off a last-minute comeback on this one. So, I guess both of us will take that L? Hey, don't accept defeat already. How about we win this? Both of us. How? I brought my lips to Reina's ear. Is he telling her her hand? Or his hand? Is that allowed? Did you forget the second rule of our society? Do everything you can to obtain victory. I'll try my best. Our plan of attack was quite a rudimentary one. At the beginning of the game, everyone would be focused on their own hand, taking notes. Since our seats are next to each other, we'd reveal our hands to each other. Just a little bit of collusion. If we did it under the desk, nobody would know. We'd begin the game with twice as much information as everyone else. Having this would mean we'd need to investigate less. With this sort of plan, we start off with a big lead over the other guys. Yeah, with this we could probably win. We both smirked at each other. If I was the shady businessman, Reina was the corrupt senator. Pleasure doing business with you. Let's hurry, we'll work as a duo to surprise everyone. Hey now, there's no point if we go back together. Maybe like flat out telling them we made a little arrangement. Oh, sorry, what should we do? Go ahead of me, Reina. I'll take my time coming back after washing my face or something. Got it. Reina turned around and headed back to the classroom. I guess I should wait a bit before going back. If I went too soon, it wouldn't seem like I went to the bathroom. If Mion or one of them suspected something, there could be problems. Oh, getting bonked again. Will they figure it out sooner or later? Because both Reina and I would start winning over and over again. Both Reina and I will have earned enough to avoid being the losers by the time Mion realized what was happening. Excellent. Not bad at all. My Barakun, may I have a moment? What? It's the teacher. Man, things are just getting good. What is it? I'm a bit... You have a guest? Please make your way to the entrance. A guest? It's not like I own a hotel. They've been waiting. Please hurry. It's rather unfortunate I have someone waiting on me before my big match, but I guess I'm more interested in the unexpected guest. I didn't want to waste my time, so I decided to take care of it quickly. The entryway was a heavy contrast from the hot sunlight and deep shadows. We're back on the school grounds. Who? Waiting there, looking uncomfortably warm, was a middle-aged man, his tie sloppily loosened, and his jacket tucked underneath his arm. You know, I was thinking for a second this would be his dad, but his dad works from home. Why the fuck would he wear a suit? Why would he wear like a suit and tie, right? This is way too professional, but who is it gonna be? Are you Maibara-san? Keiichi Maibara? Oh, this is a detective. I already figured it out. Detective. There was no question he wasn't a resident of Hinamizawa, and that this was without a doubt the first time he'd met me. Ever since I met Tomatake, I've been running into so many middle-aged men. Tomatake looks like he's in his 20s. Screw you, kid. Alright. That's right. Who might you be? Have the AC on in my car. Let's talk there. It's a bit hot here, don't you think? That is the nice way of saying, you're gonna want to sit down for this, kid. The man, completely ignoring my question, pointed over to his car parked near the gate and began walking. Gotta be kidding me. I have no intention of going along with some geezer I don't know, and he's asking me to get into his car with him? I'm not gonna bite. Come on now. He opened the back door of his car and called me over. Alright, creepy adult man you've never met asks you to get into the back of his car while you're at school. Are you just asking to be kidnapped? I didn't like this old man, but I wanted to know what this is about. You're like 12. Don't get into a car with a stranger. Are you an idiot? Even while knowing that conversations that start like this have never led to anything good. Dude, be like, yeah, I'm not gonna sit in the back of a car with a stranger and get myself kidnapped. That's the easiest thing to, like, just be like, no, why can't we talk here? Oh my god, he's getting into the car. Are you serious? The inside of his car was pretty cool. Okay, cars with air conditioners were supposed to be a luxury. My dad didn't have one in his car, at least. Let me know if it's too cold, okay? I have a habit of cranking it all the way up. So, what business do you have with me? Out of spite, I decided to ignore his remark in the same way he did to me and start my own line of questioning. He pulled out a notepad from his pocket and took out a picture of what was stuck between the pages. Dad's dead? On it was the face of a pretty goofy-looking guy. If you know anything related to this individual, please tell me. Who is this? I doubt even his close friends would be able to recognize who he was from his expressionless picture. It looked like it was taken at the DMV. There were scribbles on his shirt done in permanent marker. Well, we know who that is. Starting with your... There are scribbles on shirt. Okay, starting with yours, my bar, and quite a few of your classmates signed as well. Huh? This is Tomatake? Yep, it's Tomatake. What about Tomatake? There is no hint of his usual unreliable and easygoing personality in this photo. It was an expressionless, half-asleep face. Do you know this woman? Wait, did he actually respond saying it was Tomatake? Yes, okay. I wasn't sure if he was just thinking in his head that part. Okay. Even before seeing it, I had a good idea of who it was. I don't remember her name, but she's some lady who was with Tomatake last night. I didn't know what her name was, but I did know she was a resident of Hinamizawa. Oh, there was something that flashed up there for a second. When was the last time you saw these two? Night of the Watanagashi. We spoke. They seemed pretty close, I guess. Did anything bother you about them? Anything's fine. Go ahead and say it. Being asked for every detail is troubling, honestly. I had a pretty good idea of who the guy was by now. Did something happen to them? There was no response to my inquiry. Thus I replied to that silence in kind. I was pretty sure, no, certain, this guy was a cop. Well, why didn't you say so? Like, if it's a police cruiser, at least be like, oh, yeah, that would explain so much other than be like, I get into the mysterious strange man's car. It has air conditioning. And why was he asking about Tomatake-san? Did something happen to him? More importantly, why me? Didn't there have been plenty of other people who knew about him more than I did? The roar of the AC felt unbearably loud. After a long pause, he finally spoke to me again. You've moved here recently, isn't that right, my bar? Are you aware, I wonder? Again, this guy could just be a reporter looking for the latest and greatest scoop. About the stories of Oyashiro-sama. My heart began to race. I'm pretty terrible at hiding things. It probably showed on my face. Not at all. If you don't, that's fine. Well, I have heard of it, but Tomatake told me, actually. How much do you know about it? The dismemberment killing, the accidental... He's thinking this part. The accidental death, the death by illness followed by suicide, and the lady who was beaten to death. The incidents that seemed to happen on the day of the Watanagashi ending in suspicious deaths. I didn't think Tomatake would have kept anything from me. I think that was everything. Or rather, I didn't think there was anything more than that. Do you know of that, well, curse, my bar? Feel free to speak openly about it. I don't believe in it. Okay, that's a response. My answer was instant. It wasn't so much I didn't believe in it as I was on the verge of believing. I wanted to clear away my own doubts. That was the more prominent feeling. Really? That's great. Guess you really are one of those city-raised boys. So what if I don't believe? I have friends waiting. Could you get to the point? The man in this picture is dead. R.I.P. in peace. R.I.P. in peace, cameraman. My mind went blank. What happened to Tomatake? It would seem he died last night. The night of the Watanagashi. Do you understand the implications behind that, Maibara? Implications? Not any yet. Not any for the cause of his death or the reasons behind it. The real problem was he died on the day of the Watanagashi, meaning this year the curse of Oyashiro-sama had once again. The death of Jiro Tomatake is still confidential. You can understand why that is, right? I didn't want to understand why. Please tell me. Tell me what happened. It's rather peculiar. It might be a little too graphic for someone born and raised in Hinamizawa. It was a roundabout way of saying it, but it caused me to doubt whether or not I wanted to hear the rest. I'd only regret forcing myself to learn something I shouldn't. Well, we're playing a mystery game, so let's buckle in and hear it. At least that's how I figured I'd feel if I listened to the rest. One of our patrol cars discovered the body on the way back from the security detail at the festival. It was late about 5 till midnight. The location was, you know where the road into town becomes paved? Just past that slope on the shoulder around there. There were a few streetlights on that road. Its pitch blackness and was only broken by the light of passing cars and the moon. It was a stroke of luck that he was spotted collapsed on the shoulder of the road. He was face down, covered in blood. Blood and muck covered the asphalt. We thought it was a hit and run at first. But when the officer checked to see if he was still alive, he quickly noticed something abnormal. His throat had been ripped open. From a knife or something? No. Nails. Nails? As in fingernails? But those... He clawed through... From the coroner's report, it was revealed it was with his own nails. What? Basically, it means it wasn't a murder, it was suicide. Tomatake thought there was a reason to tear open his own throat? As hard as he could with his own nails? Tore through the skin until he started to bleed, and even then didn't stop. He continued clawing with enough intensity it could have peeled off his nails, still clawing and clawing. And then as his nails reached those vital arteries he should never damage, he continued clawing. Blood splattered on the ground around him, and as he bled while gasping for breath, he collapsed, his body spasmed, and he died in agony. We thought drugs were to blame, but nothing of the nature was detected. But this, a suicide? I'd never heard of such a thing. This unnatural way of dying? If this wasn't a mysterious death, then what was? The way he died in these 5 years, his death most resembled that of a curse. As if to show both myself and Tomatake-san, who proclaimed there was no such thing as a curse, we were wrong. There were a few more suspicious details. From his body chemistry, perspiration, epilation, and so on, we concluded he was in a state of hysteria right before his death. What? What? Okay, that was a given. It's hard to believe someone could be in a sound state of mind while clawing out their own throat. Wounds on his hands matched a discarded piece of lumber found nearby. There's traces of where he struck trees and guardrails with it. Tomatake's blood was found all over the place, meaning, while tearing his own throat, he was swinging around a piece of lumber. There were external injuries which were not self-inflicted discovered on Tomatake-san. There's a high probability that he was assaulted. The external injuries suggest there may be multiple suspects. To summarize, he was surrounded and attacked. While wandering the night roads in a state of panic, after being cornered, he picked up a piece of lumber and tried fighting back. Somewhere in there, he began madly tearing at his own throat, clawing at it, and then he died. Well, that is quite a gruesome death. The presumed time of death was around 9:23 p.m., meaning it occurred right after you finished talking to him at the festival. He walked away with the woman. Everyone signed Tomatake's shirt, then parted ways. Right after that, he should have been with a woman. What about her? She's missing. She hasn't shown up to work, and she hasn't returned home either. There's a very high probability she was involved in this incident. For a while, I could only gaze off into space. So, the woman is probably the guilty party, or the curse, you know. Who knows? I never would have thought something unfortunate happening to somebody close to me could affect me this deeply. The time I spent with him was short. But we went to the same festival, we spent time together, and took part in the same competition. He was one of us. We've been continuing the investigation on various fronts, but when it comes to Oyashiro-sama's curse, the villagers here aren't very cooperative. That I knew well. I would have been none the wiser if not for Tomatake, the outsider, telling me. So that's why you came to me? Because I'm not from Hinamizawa? I should have been angry. That was the reason he wanted to hear what happened from me. If things go the way they have been, then the conclusion would be that Jiro's Tomatake died from Uyashiro-sama's curse. He turned from me and gazed off into the distance. The night of the Watanagashi, during that sacred ritual, he callously snapped off photos, angering Uyashiro-sama. That's how it's going to turn out. There's no way he'd inflict divine punishment on Tomatake for that. He had to have been killed by people, a cowardly group no less. I mean, let's think about it this way. There is a lot of incentive for real people to make other people believe that if anyone interferes with their village, they get murdered, right? Like, there's an incentive for people to continue to like make others believe in the curse because it keeps the village safe from the dam construction project, right? It'll never continue while there's a curse. We could be getting that Scooby-Doo vibe, except with actual murder instead of just a ghost scaring people off. I don't know. I feel like in Scooby-Doo, it's like the ghosts always just scare people, and it's like, is there anyone who just doesn't believe in ghosts and is like, okay, come at me half the time? Half the time in Scooby-Doo, you could probably just fight the ghost in a fist fight, and if you're a tough guy, you beat him. He's using a weird, awkward costume or some shit. There's no way I'm gonna let this end up being the fault of some fucking curse. Yeah, I think so as well. There's no such thing as divine punishment or curses. The tense mood was cut with the man's hearty laugh. That's how it's gotta be, my Bara-san. Cooperation from individuals in Hinamizawa who don't believe in the curse is indispensable. Understand? Neither Tomatake nor I believed in curses, but the way things were going, it would just end up with his death marking the 5th year, which would mean Hinamizawa rejected Tomatake. That was something I couldn't allow. Tomatake was one of us. He didn't live in Hinamizawa, but he came every year. In a sense, he was more of a resident than I was. There's no way Tomatake could have been cursed by Uyashiro-sama. But there's nothing I can do to help. I have no idea what happened that night either. No, if you see or hear something that draws your attention, that's enough. See or hear? He's talking in future tense. Things, people, rumors. Anything's fine. Don't care if they're unfounded. Here, this is my number. If I'm not there, just leave a message with whoever picks up. He handed me a piece of paper with his number on it, but I hesitated for a second. If I took it, then whether I wanted to or not, I'd be mired knee-deep in this matter. Except in real life, if you get the number of a police officer and he's like, you hear something, like, you may not have to call him ever. You're not like instantly. It's like you're not instantly knee-deep in the investigation and a target for murders. Come on, man. Please help me solve these questions surrounding Tomatake's unfortunate death. That's right. Why was I hesitating? I needed to find the murderer who killed my friend. I snatched the paper as a satisfied grin spread across his face. Everything we spoke of today is a secret. Please keep this confidential. Understood. From your friends as well. Especially from Sonozaki and Furude-san. Do not inform them. Sonozaki? You mean Mia? What, are you saying they have something to do with the incident? When my friend's name's brought up so abruptly, I'm being told to keep it a secret. I became rather angry. This is what they call investigative privilege, I suppose. Don't play games with me. Mion's a close friend of mine. I snapped at him, but he didn't seem to be especially offended. I wouldn't mind telling you, but it may just upset you. Say it. He hesitated a little. Turning his gaze to the outside of the car, he began to speak after thinking a bit. There's a possibility that the string of incidents happening here in Hinamizawa are a result of a village conspiracy. There's no way that could be right. Give me a break. First of all, is there any proof of that? No evidence. Also, each of the cases were resolved, and none of the perpetrators had any direct connection to the village. How did you come to that conclusion? Every year, the enemies of the village die on the day of the Watanagashi. Don't you think that's enough reason to suspect something? Only the residents of Hinamizawa felt that the day of the Watanagashi was sacred. Basically, because incidents happened on that day, it's somehow related to Hinamizawa. That's not unreasonable. First, it's the damn construction foreman. There's motive there. Killing the foreman to stop the construction, that's reasonable. It was a villager that supported it. Those the village holds a grudge against die one after another for mysterious causes. The means are different, but in the end, the result's the same. Unfounded, unreasonable suspicion. But it couldn't just be shrugged off, so the victims after that, what about the Shinto priest and the wife? They weren't enemies of the village. They expected leadership from the Shinto priest, but he wasn't proactive. It was a faction of villagers who harbored ill will towards him as a result. Ill will? It's not like he did anything bad to the village. What about the housewife? Did she die because she was the wife of the brother's supporter? It's so trivial to kill someone. What about Tomatake? He's not affiliated with the Dam Project at all. Was he killed just because he's an outsider? In the beginning, it fell on those related to the Dam Project, but as the years went on, the enemy threshold of the victims has become much lower. I was going to say, it seems to already have been like a linear regression of focus, where like, it started laser focused on dam stuff, and now it's getting like very, very general on like who's dying once per year. That's the scary part. The bar keeps getting lower. What's scary about that? It means it's just not just enemies of the village anymore. It's being an outsider's reason enough. Next year's victim, they're just going to be picked out of the village outsider pool? It might be a person that just moved here. What do you mean by... I swallowed my words. Here in Hinamizawa, the ones who would be considered the most outside would be my family. I was proof of that, wasn't I? I still couldn't really remember the names of the people I passed by. The next victim's my family. Was he saying it's gonna be me? What does that have to do with Mion? I can't go into details, but the Sonozaki family led the damn protests. Quite fervently so. This is also true of Mion Sonozaki-san herself. She has quite a few misdemeanors and obstruction of public worker offenses on her record because of the protests. I knew Mion knew what it meant to fight. This is the first I've heard of her family leading the protest, though. Well, what did it all mean? Are you saying Mion's family's involved in this string of incidents? I wouldn't go that far. I'm just saying, if it was a conspiracy, they'd have the highest probability of being behind it. Not a very clear explanation. It felt like he'd magnificently avoided the details I really wanted to know. We don't know who or why or how involved everyone is right now. That's exactly why I don't want you to say anything to the villagers. Instead of answering, I gave a bitter expression. It seemed he understood it well enough. Think of it like this. I don't want to worry the villagers who blindly believe it's the curse. How about that? What do you mean, how about that? How should I know? The reasoning behind wanting me to not carelessly open my mouth wasn't too hard to comprehend. The perpetrator is here. It had nothing to do with a curse. He was definitely going to be caught by the police and made to pay for his crimes, and none of the villagers should have anything to do with that process. It may cause those sensitive about the curse to just worry needlessly. Just like everyone kept it from me so I wouldn't worry about it. It's now my turn to keep it from them so they don't have to worry. I was just talking to myself. Unlike me, everyone else had been worrying over these mysterious incidents yearly, and the incident this time probably means a lot more to them. I didn't want to burden them anymore. In the end, everything went as the man had wanted. As insipid as it was, it certainly couldn't be helped. I understand. I'll keep it to myself. Is that fine, Mr. Uishi? Uishi, from the Okinomiya police station. Call me Kura-chan if you want. Oh, Uishi-san is fine. The way he said it was unpleasant, yet retained hints of politeness. He was the spitting image of a vulgar police officer. Though I've never seen one this bulky before in the cop shows I watch. Clearly haven't seen enough police shows if you don't see the fat one around here and there. I mean, cops love their donuts, am I right? I've taken too much time. Your friends are waiting, aren't they? I should let you get back to them. The door opened with a click and in streamed the oppressive heat. It was blistering outside the car. Was it really this hot of a day? It was an almost cruel heat as opposed to the mechanical coolness inside the car. As if the land of Hinamizawa suddenly hated me. I felt a little sad as that thought crossed my mind. I didn't mean to suspect your friends. Please don't misunderstand that. I refrained from telling him that it was too late to say something that self-serving. It's fine if you don't see or hear anything, Maibara. There's enough proof the village is not involved. I'll contact you if I see or hear anything. But I'm no detective. Please don't expect too much from me. I won't. You don't have to become a detective. Just go on living as you have until now. Let me know if you notice anything. I hastily made my way back to the school building after giving him a quick bow. See you later. Farewell, Maibara. I returned to the school building without looking back. So I guess we're investigating the murder of our good friend, who we've met 3 times. I don't know how much time passed. I did feel bad for keeping them waiting, but right now there was a lot on my mind. Tomatake's death was hard enough as it was, but to think there was the possibility of a village conspiracy, or still the chance, a chance that Mion was involved? Nonsense. Impossible. Not Mion, Reina, Satoko, or Rika. It was a group that attacked Tomatake. Who could the perpetrators be? Could it be they're hiding here somewhere in Hinamizawa? I didn't know. All I could say for certain was I knew Mion couldn't be the perpetrator. It's Michan! The perpetrator, what? I was startled to hear Reina's voice. With the rope in the lounge? Haha, nope. Oh, Reina clutched her head while flailing about. It looks like you're just self-destructing over here. Wow. Keiichi, you're quite late. As you may well know, I'm seething with anger. Sorry about that. I was called into the staff room, you see. Reprimanded for bad behavior? That's a shame. Well, it's been pretty heated over here since it's getting pretty late. Let's make the next game the last one. If I remember right, I had 0 points. Isn't it pretty much decided I'm going to be finishing in last place? Don't worry, Keiichi. I'm at -1 points. How'd you get to... Oh, wait, it's clear. The heck? Her score's lower than mine and I wasn't even playing. It's the final match to decide if the penalty is going to be carried out by Reina alone or by both Kei-chan and Reina. Right, just let Reina do the penalty by herself. We made a promise, Keiichi. We'd both win. I waited all this time, you know? I'm sorry about that. Oh, I feel bad for Reina. She is getting fucking pummeled the whole time. Oh, I followed my initial plan of showing Reina my cards, but I didn't say who was the criminal and just waited for her to call. I got it! The murderer is me! With the poison at the entrance. Is it? My, Reina. Quite a quick answer. Another stab in the dark. Oh. Reina's correct. Oh. Then it's decided Keiichi shall take part in the penalty as well. Hey! Keiichi, let's do our best. Let's do our best. It's my fault. I have no choice. And that's the game. It's me, Mion Sonozaki, ranked first. In dead last are Keiichi Maibara and Reina Ryugu. Everyone applauded, and the game ended. The problem now was the penalty. Now that I ranked first, I'll decide what you'll be buying for the gopher penalty. What would you make us buy, I wonder? Let's blacklist the drugstore. Whoa, that was your aim, right? I don't have any business at the drugstore. This old man's already got a list prepared for you on this piece of paper. Oh, there's a lot written here. A lot? Damn it, what is she making us buy? 2 blocks of tofu, shampoo and conditioner, apple vinegar and fried tofu. The heck is this? It looks more like a shopping list than a penalty. Me was certain she was gonna win today. Rule 7 of our society, you cannot refuse a penalty. Here's some money. The shampoo I usually get is Fruit Fable. Thanks. This is just your grocery list. I promised myself if I won next time, I'd make her go buy hemorrhoid cream. So we're doing her chores for her. It could be worse, right? It could be worse. And she gave us money, so it's not out of our pocket. New tips, more than 4 perpetrators, search notice. Hypervolemic shock induced by clawing out their own throat. Tissue packed under the nails. Not someone else's nails. It's undoubtedly by the individual's own nails. The shape of the scars also match. Did they DNA test what's under his nails? It could be someone else's face he was clawing at. But I assume they did that. That would be like the most straightforward thing to do, right? When was DNA testing invented? Hmm. DNA testing. DNA profiling was invented in 1984 by geneticist Sir Alec Jeffreys. Rest in peace. They didn't actually test it. Those were someone else's. They just made assumptions. All right. I think it's 1983, right? It's 1983 or 1984. Either way, if it's 1984, we shouldn't assume that they have the DNA testing lab in Tokyo. I think it would be a bad assumption to say even if it was in 1984 right now, which I don't think it is. I think it's 1983. They wouldn't have DNA testing available because it was only invented there, and they wouldn't have made DNA testing available for local murders in Japan the same year that shit was invented. So probably just assumptions. They might be other people's. He might not have clawed his own through it, but he might have done it. Well, like they don't necessarily know that because they can't prove whose blood's under his nails. They might be able to test the blood though, right? They might be able to check that it's the same blood type. I don't know when they got tests for blood type, or how much blood you need for that. Yeah, I know the immediate cause of death was suicide. I get it. You're saying the cause of death is unnatural, right? It's kind of like when your back itches and you scratch a little too hard and draw blood. Some of Tomatake's fingernails had been pulled out. It's actually quite simple to pull out one's own fingernails, but it really hurts. Under normal circumstances, the pain would prevent you from completely pulling them out. There were a lot of bruises on Tomatake's body. It's clear from the shape he was assaulted first by someone or a group of people. According to toxicology report, the deceased was in an extreme state of hysteria right before death. Then he fought back and clawed out his own throat because of how hysterical he became. The guys attacking him certainly would have been surprised by that. It's possible, in such an abnormal environment, a person could perform acts that a sane individual couldn't possibly imagine. Of course, these are rare cases. Actually, Ishikun. That wood plank the deceased used as a weapon? They only found sand and the paint from the guardrail on it. What about cloth fibers or skin? Nothing. The deceased didn't strike the assailants. Or could it be they took the plank he was fighting back with? In that case, they wouldn't have gone out of their way to replace it with another. They'd take them all. Haha. True, true. Tomatake is pretty built and tanned. He was quite athletic. That's right. He was pretty active. I can't imagine what kind of sports he did when he was alive, but I think his physical strength would be on the higher side, meaning he'd be difficult to overpower in a brawl. A man with such a physique sensed he was in danger and swung the plank around quickly. It's unthinkable it wouldn't even nick the perpetrator. And his opponent was unarmed. This guy had a wooden plank you'd think he'd hit at least once. Yeah, you'd think. To surround and take down someone of his physique. I wonder how many people it would take. You dimwit. You should know better than anyone else. Have you forgotten your bad cop days? If I was to take down this guy, how many would I need? When a group wants to take down big prey, it's fundamental to attack with numbers. I'd guess 4. Even if there was a gap in their strength, they'd manage. That's quite a few perpetrators. So any drunk and disorderly groups of more than 4 are suspicious? A group of 4 or more, just... If they had that many, couldn't they have hidden the body in a less obvious location? Or did he somehow break away from that fatal predicament? Then there'd be no reason to commit suicide. Moreover, I can't comprehend the irregular way he died. It's full of mysteries. That's under serious consideration on my end too. I'll be examining it as thoroughly as possible, but don't get your hopes up. After all, we've never encountered a death like this before. I'm not hoping for much, but I'm looking forward to the results. Oishi-san, the chief's calling. Thanks, see you around. Yeah, best wishes. Okay, 4 people. Curiously enough, there are 4 people in our little crew. I'm not saying they disappeared and killed him, but that was literally 4 people, and they're The group got in a lot of shit last year for doing something really bad. Just saying, all of our friends could be the killers. They're like 12 years old. Jiro Tomatake, deceased. Resided in a cheap hotel in Shishibone City. Registered under the name Jiro Tomatake. Pen name. Travels via folding bike. No license. The bicycle was found 300 meters away, abandoned at the side of a forest path. Present on the day of the festival, accompanied by the missing Mio Takano. Seen around 9 p.m. by police, location afterwards unknown. Held residence in Hinamizawa for 1 week each season for the last 5 to 6 years. Freelance photographer specializing in wild birds. Oh, he actually is a photographer. Check with magazine companies. Nothing suspicious in film located among the articles of the deceased. Wallet was among articles of the deceased. Mere act of violence. From the contents of his wallet, he spent most of his time around Tokyo and Chiba, along the Sobu National Railway line. No individual matching the name Jiro Tomatake in residency records of any of the Tokyo wards. Compare teeth to dental records. Send to Metro Police. Attach a photo. Send to Metro Police. Contacting magazines regarding Jiro Tomatake. Mio Takano, missing. Nurse at Erie Clinic. Became close to Tomatake through her passion for wild bird photography. Resides in Okinomiya, 5th District, XXX, single. Witnessed accompanying Tomatake on the festival grounds, currently missing. Abducted? A suspect? An important person of interest, perhaps. He had no motive to kill the deceased. Squabble from jealousy? Need to thoroughly investigate their relationship, place of work, etc. Need to get information from the police on scene again. I want some cream puffs. 4 jumbo cream puffs. Oishi. Oishi. Guy's name's delicious and he loves cream puffs. What a guy. Oishi. Cream puffs likes his cream puffs, I guess. Sleepy. That was a really big yawn, Keiichi-kun. I'm usually awake once it's time to eat, but it doesn't look like I can do it today. I was watching TV until late last night, so I'm so tired now. I can sympathize, Keiichi. I've been there. Was one of those raunchy shows you loved so much on last night? How extremely vile. Don't jump to conclusions. It's perfectly normal for boys, nothing to be ashamed of it. Rika not patting my head only made me feel worse. Could you just let me pass out on this lunch break? Seriously. You think I would just sit here and allow that? I'll get really angry if you disturb me. Really angry. Nap time. This was just dreadful. Just so sleepy. I slumped my head onto the desk and drifted off into an afternoon nap. I could use an afternoon nap. It seems Satoko responded, but I pretended not to hear. Cut it out, Satoko. Keiichi fell asleep. His sleeping face is so cute. You can take him home later. Let him be for now. Let's move over there. It'd be rude to Keiichi if we bothered him now. Rika really is a good girl. Let's not wake him, even if the teacher comes back. I take that back. The excuse that I didn't sleep much last night was because I was watching TV was a lie. I was in bed at the usual time, but because of the conversation, I didn't get much sleep. Just spending the day like this, it's almost as if the incident with Tomatake didn't happen at all. It made me think, was Uishi-san just trying to deceive me? It's probably the truth. One thing was certain, I couldn't speak to anyone about it. He wanted my assistance, but I really didn't know anything about it. If I knew I wasn't going to be of any help, I probably wouldn't have listened in the first place. It ended up with me, again, regretting learning something I didn't need to know. If I'd never learned about it, I would, without a doubt, be goofing off with the rest of them right now. I couldn't help but resent Uishi-san for this. But what was that? I heard he wasn't there the next day. It appears he vanished the night of the Watanagashi. Mion whispered to keep others from listening, but I could hear it clearly. On the other hand, Reina's voice was harder to pick up. I could still tell she was quite upset. It could be. Are they talking about Tomatake-san? Not sure. That's all I know. I'd have to feign ignorance about this topic because I need to keep it a secret. Rather than waking up and being forced to lie to join the conversation, it was much easier to sit here and pretend I was asleep to listen in on their discussion. Wait, why'd I have to pretend to be asleep while eavesdropping on my own friend's conversation? The guilt's done. So, Miyami, there's others, right? Two? I don't know if it's from the curse or if this was an Onikakushi. Onikakushi? Be hidden away by a demon? What a mysterious phrase. I did, however, get the feeling it meant nothing good. Yeah, there was another, right? Right? It's a Yashiro-sama's, yeah. But this year, at all? Grandma and the mayor already had talked about it. Seems they talked to the police about it beforehand. They said they'd take care of whatever happens this year without causing a commotion. Then, without us knowing, someone had... That, you mean? Maybe. Next could be... I wonder. Don't worry. You go home. You got home safely. But, not allowed, right? That was a long time ago. Let's stop talking about this. Amidst the uncomfortable mood, both of them went silent. The entirety of the conversation was still a bit unclear, but a few parts caught my attention. First, the term Onikakushi. To be demoned away, by the context it was used, it could be similar to being spirited away. I suspect that's what it meant, because Tomatake and that woman, bugs me, I don't know her name, vanished right after with Tanagashi. Next thing that struck out was when Reina said, there's another one, right? Neon said, if it's Oyashiro-sama's, yeah, responding to something. If it's cursed, there had to be 2 victims? Is that what she meant? Come to think of it, I remember Mion saying at the beginning they didn't know if it was from the curse or a case of Onikakushi. Seems the curse and being demoned away are different things. They were phenomena that were paired together. I recalled Tomatake's terrible end. That wasn't something as elegant as disappearing. That end would best be described as cursed. And the woman with him, she vanished because she was demoned away? What I do know is there's normally an even number of victims of the curse proper, and the last point that bothered me was Reina. Reina was frightened. For what reason, I didn't know. However, she knew that something made her a potential target for the curse. If I recall correctly, Oyashiro-sama should be the guardian deity of Namizawa. Isn't a guardian deity supposed to defend the citizens and drive out invaders? Clearly this one's not doing his job right. If I can recall correctly, yesterday Ueshi-san said that originally the targets were enemies of the village, but recently there was no longer any distinction between them and outsiders. If that's the case, I'd think I'd be the more likely target, having moved here more recently than Reina. From her composure, I would infer that she was grimly certain she would be next. I should probably relay what I heard now to Ueshi-san. Informing the police of what I heard by eavesdropping on my friends while pretending to be asleep, it made me feel terrible. It raised a few questions and left me with a bad taste in my mouth. Would it be better not to seek the answers to those questions? As I continued to learn more, I felt I had fallen past the point of no return. I definitely regret this one day. I definitely regret ever having learned of these events. Teacher approaches! Keiichi! Wake up! In the distance, I could hear the ring of the handbell, signaling the start of the classes. I couldn't sleep at all. I hastily opened my eyes and raised my head up. It was in that moment when I leaned against the back of my seat. There was a thumbtack stuck on the back of my chair with tape. Circumstantial evidence was enough. Satoko! Guilty without trial. Capital punishment. I furiously jumped up from my seat and tripped as if my feet were tangled up. My shoelaces had been tied together. Not bad, Satoko. While I was sleeping, you were able to conceal your presence and pull off this fine piece of work. Teacher came in as I was about to pull off my shoes and tackle Satoko. Oh, did you not notice our teachers arrived, Keiichi-san? Take your seat. Clomp, clomp, wish. Not caring one bit, I made her eat a flick to the forehead. Keiichi's being mean. Don't pick on the younger kids, Maibara. Apologize. I saw Satoko stick her tongue out. That little brat. Come on, Maibara-kun. Yeah, apologize. Sorry, Satoko. In any case, I apologize, even if it was a completely insincere tone of voice. Damn her, I'll remember that. K-chan, get your revenge at the club meeting. What club meeting? How are we gonna get a club meeting? Club meeting, alright, well. Take your seat, take your seat. I sat down after Mion told me to. She'd switched into class representative mode. Okay. So we got some rumors. The rumor mill is spinning up a storm. Let's see. The boring class is finished. School is finally over. I imagine we won't get any more information out of people today. Smart move is to be passive right here, right? You're not supposed to... Well, unless you have a route to actively investigate. Which I wouldn't do right away. I think I'd wait a day. Now then, what should we do for our club today? Personally, I want to play the deduction game again. I was hardly able to play it last time because of Ueshi-san. Ray and I weren't even able to test out our strategy. That's right, today Keiichi-kun and I will be victorious. Oh, what should we do? We never played the same game 2 days in a row before. Why not try asking me? Mion looked over her shoulder as we made eye contact. She slowly tapped her palm with her fist as her face suddenly lit up. Oops, I completely forgot. I need to go help my uncle today. Sorry guys, not today. Helping your uncle? Aren't you a little goody two-shoes? Sorry, really. I didn't forget. Well, sorry guys. This old man's heading back home now. Mion left us with that and rushed off to the exit after snatching up her bag. See me, Chance. She sometimes goes to help out her uncle's shop in town. I thought she wasn't the type to get caught up in such bothersome shit. She said she gets paid for it. It's quite a bit of spending money from what I hear. I see. Well, she was able to pay for that mountain of games with what she saved up from there. Wouldn't you call that a part-time job? Isn't that against school policy? There's a clause that states family businesses are excluded. Is that what she's calling it? How? Yeah, that sounds about right. So, what now? Pass on the club today? We're done, I guess? Wouldn't it be fine without the club president? Let's do this. I opened up the locker and began searching for that deduction game from that ever-growing pile of games. Ah, here it is. The deduction game from yesterday. I had to stop just as I was getting the hang of it. At the very least, I wanted to repay Satoko for what she did during the afternoon break. I do not mind, but is that fine for Reina and Rika? If Keiichi wants to so badly, I wouldn't mind playing for a bit. I think it's better if we do it when we have everyone together. When she says it like that, I wanted to go shopping if there wasn't a club meeting today. You know, buy soy sauce and other stuff. Oh, that's right. I completely forgot. Well, I guess it's been a while. I should go treasure hunting. What's this? Everyone's no longer in the mood for activities? If I kept on trying to push the matter, it may make them realize I had a trick up my sleeve. Oh, well. I'll give up this time. I was looking forward. I shuffled through the cars as if I was still caught up on it. At the next opportunity, I'll give you a sound thrashing. Ho ho. The murderer is Satoko. The murder weapon, the pistol. It was you, after all. What did you say? I'll just... Satoko looked through the cards on the desk and stuck out 3 of them at me. The murderer is Keiichi. In the lounge with the rope. I don't need no rope. I'll just strangle you like this. Oh no! Keiichi's being such a beast. The interface actually moved there. Interesting. Whew, well, I guess it's too good. I got that out of my system. I'll remember this Keiichi. Keiichi. She was used as a plaything for quite a while. How unfortunate. Phrasing! That's so cute. Phrasing. Everyone got ready to go back home. I also helped gather up the scattered cards. I suddenly paused. They were just the suspect cards, but I noticed something strange. Reina, Satoko, Rika, Keiichi. Mion. Satoshi. Satoshi. Not all the cards were made by us. Or at least every card besides this one has the name of a club member. Does this mean this Satoshi fellow is a member? Was there someone in class named Satoshi? I couldn't find anyone named Satoshi on the class roster stuck up on the wall. Keiichi, let's hurry and finish cleaning up. Being rushed by Reina, I finished up quickly. Who's this Satoshi fellow? Satoko and Rika had already headed merrily for their lockers, so they were the only ones left in the classroom. Or we were. Right now, Reina had already gotten her bag and was ready to leave. Reina, there must be quite a few people to transfer from this school, right? I tried asking Reina in a bit of a roundabout way. Reina made a troll face and answered, yeah. Inamizawa was a rural town, right? Some people transfer out every now and then. Is Satoshi another one of these transferees? Sorry, I don't really know. There was a bit of a pause, but the answer was pretty much immediate. Okay. I'm not saying it to be mean. Just last year, I transferred in, so maybe I missed him? So I didn't hear much about him. Sorry. Interesting. I'm not sure. Sorry. We trust that? Can we trust this innocent face? Her answer was a lot like when she refused to tell me about the murder at the dam. I was saddened by her denial and felt a little bit of anger. I'm their friend, aren't I? Friends don't keep secrets from their friends, do they? Pfft. You're like 12. Of course your friends are lying to you. I do appreciate they kept that unsettling curse thing from me, though. But if everyone's worried about it, I'd rather be worried with them. That's what it means to be friends, right? For a moment, I wondered what kind of face I was making then, with these mixed feelings of sadness and annoyance. Keiichi, you're making a scary face. Why? It's probably exactly the kind of face Reina said it was. It appeared my grim expression had frightened her. Sorry, I was really looking forward to the club today. I'm feeling down about it. I rustled Reina's hair. Let's go home. Dragging that awkward mood with us, we headed home. I wonder why. Why have I been getting this dumb feeling lately? I didn't know anything. I had nothing to worry about. I was just enjoying my everyday life. Why couldn't we just enjoy life like normal people? Why'd we have to do this? We're digging ourselves a hole, learning too much. And in the end, it's all a cult to the deep ones. We're in Japan, right? Everyone's on an island. Cults to the deep ones. Easy. My long, outstretched shadow gave no answer to my naive inquiry. Keiichi, are you tired, maybe? Maybe? Reina timidly questioned the reason behind my mood. I'm sure my expression made the situation even more unsettling. You need to become more stony-faced, my friend. You think so? Yeah. You seem to have been a little out of it ever since this morning. Maybe a cold? Physically, I'm pretty sure I'm in perfect health. I may not seem like it, but I had perfect attendance since elementary school. That's impressive. He's in high school, right? Reina continued on since I didn't give her an answer. It could be the fatigue from moving finally caught up to you. It's completely different from where you used to live, after all. Of course, you've gotten tired since there's so much you need to get used to and remember. Have all the murders included a woman? Hold up. All the murders include a woman. The first one was the bridge. No, the first murder didn't include a woman, unless the person murdered was a woman. Or the person who disappeared was a woman. The rest of them all include a woman, right? The wife disappeared. Another woman committed suicide. And then there was another murder where one of them we don't know the gender of. That it could be a murder. Of course you've gotten tired. There's so much you need to get used to and remember. Maybe that's it. Yeah, that's it, for sure. Has to be. Reina was like that at first, too. I can tell, you know? You know? I wondered if Reina also experienced the slight bit of alienation last year that I was feeling right now. Thinking so, I felt she was the only one who could understand how I felt. I'd like to hear about how it was when you first came to Hinamizawa. How was it? Feeling I'd been drawn into the conversation, her face suddenly brightened. It was the same as Keiichi-kun. I didn't know the villagers' names at all. Me, Chan, and the rest were all very kind, so I wasn't lonely, but I did feel a little out of place. Reina told me the details when she had moved here. All her first acquaintances and surprises, worries and good times. So, Satoko got you too? Yeah, there was a thumbtack put on my chair. Poke. Then with that, yeah, that really takes me back. When were you invited to the club? The first day? Nah, there wasn't a club at the beginning. It was formed partway through. One day she said we should stay after and hold a big game tournament. Come to think of it, Mion did say she was the first club president. Now I get it. It's a secret, but Mion used to be really bad at the beginning. She'd never win. What, really? Mion, really? I can't even imagine that. In less than a year, she became really good at every game they played. Not bad. She had to do most of the penalties she came up with. Seriously, don't tell. I can't believe Mion was like that. She gradually transformed into a monster who used any means necessary to win during that time. Mion's at her best when she's fighting dirty. I began making more friends beside Mi-chan after that, but yeah. It might have been only since you moved here. But I finally felt like I'd gotten used to it here. I guess Reina, who had also been left in the dark about Oyashiro-sama when she first moved here. I guess when they finally told me about Oyashiro-sama, I'd be considered one of them. Wonder when I'll be considered one of them. Did you say something? No, sorry, just talking to myself. Keiichi, you're so silly. Reina was poking fun and laughing at me. I couldn't help but laugh as well, but I suddenly stopped. After making up my mind, I spoke. Hey, Reina. Is there something everyone's keeping from me? Huh? No, not at all. You're lying, aren't you? Reina suddenly stopped. Her expression was cold and intense. What do you mean by that, Keiichi-kun? Her tone was still the same cheery and light-hearted one as before. You are, aren't you? Keeping something from me? After understanding what I meant, her expression grew even more intense. Seeing that face, I regretted saying something so rash. Dude, you're like walking into a landmine. But I think she's safe, because she can just say something about what's-his-face dying. But she came back into me in a way I didn't expect. Well then, Keiichi-kun, aren't you keeping something from us? Huh? Her tone didn't change, but it was the first time I'd seen this expression from Reina. With how her gaze pierced through me, I couldn't believe this is the same Reina. Aren't you? Lies are secrets, aren't you? You are, secrets. She didn't actually say that last part, but she looked as if she did. The incident with Tomatake-san, and how I felt alienated from the group, even without having to think about it, there were things I knew I felt guilty about. But I didn't tell anyone what happened with Tomatake-san to be considerate. I was keeping it a secret just the same way they didn't tell me about Oyashiro-sama. Aren't we even? I'm not. No lies. Nor secrets. Liar. Her answer was instant and it shook me. Reina stared as if burrowing through me. Who had Cult of the Deep Ones like 5 seconds ago? Watching me like a hawk. Why would you say I'm lying? Didn't you say you were called into the teacher's room yesterday in the club meeting, Keiichi-kun? I know. You didn't go to the teacher's room. I swallowed hard. It clearly wasn't a bluff. She knew what happened. The teacher said you had a guest, didn't she? But she didn't. You didn't talk at the entrance. You talked inside of the car near the school gate. With someone we don't know. Reina knew everything. She knew I was called up by Uishi-san, and that I heard about the incident with Tomatake-san. Wait, did she know all of it? Exactly who is that man? I don't know him. Why did someone you don't know have business with you? Dude, you're vomiting information. She's literally pumping you for information off of your own question. That said, her face is a little bit terrifying. I think we can all agree with that, right? I want to know that myself. What did you talk about? It has nothing to do with you. It was a lie. Lies! Reina's scream echoed through the trees, sending frightened birds into the air. I couldn't exhale the deep breath I had just taken. No, it was like I wasn't allowed to exhale. I was here, I first realized. The person in front of me wasn't Reina Ryugu. Who was it standing before me now? Who assumed Reina Ryugu's appearance? I held my breath for so long I could feel myself suffocating. Right? And then she made a facial expression that Reina normally might have made. It didn't matter, it was Reina's usual smile. It chilled me to the bone. She drew closer to me and I felt her breath against my face. It wasn't the least bit exciting. Whoever did this with Reina's face was going to chew my nose right off. I cowered as I imagined that, and then she smirked as if she was able to see right through me. We also have secrets, just like Keiichi-kun has secrets. It was Reina's usual smile, but her eyes were still like that of a hawk's. Bringing her face close enough to mine to almost bump into my nose, she kindly persuaded me. I couldn't nod or shake my head. The person standing in front of me, this person who looked like Reina, frightened me to the core. I was terrified knowing she could hear the sound of me swallowing nervously, and after what felt like an eternity, after a long silence, she finally spoke. Let's go. It's getting chilly. It was Reina again, smiling at me once more. She started walking as if nothing at all had happened. When I was finally released from her gaze, my legs gave out from under me and I slumped into the ground. I wasn't able to lift a finger until Reina was out of sight. Who was that? I felt cold, my body was drenched in sweat. I was finally able to form a coherent thought and asked myself once again, who was that person who looked like Reina Ryugu? Well, that took a sudden twist. That was not something I was expecting. I mean, I was expecting her to know something. I'm not sure what to make of that one, though. That was sudden and aggressive coming out of Reina. I was out of it and couldn't bring myself to do anything but until dinner except stare blankly into space. Was I terrified from Reina going off on me? No, that's not right. That was someone else who only looked like Reina. Who could it have been? It was a dreadful feeling. Knowing that someone else, not Reina, so tomorrow I shouldn't have a problem talking to Reina, like I usually do. The thought was strangely comforting. I concluded I should just calm down and clear my head. Who assumes that it's someone else and not them being possessed? Or them not being the person you think they are? Though those thoughts continued swirling around in my mind, finally I returned to my senses as I heard my mother calling to me from the bottom of the steps. Keiichi. The call from the bookstore. The bookstore? Can't think of why they'd call me. I went downstairs and picked the receiver up. My apologies for calling so late at night. It's me, Uishi of the Okinomiya bookshop. Oh, Oishi-san. Uishi-san. What do you got for me, Uishi? Oh, it's Oishi-san. Sorry. Since your parents picked up, I said it was from the bookstore. It puts people off when I say I'm a cop. Uishi was, in his own way, rather courteous. Even so, I didn't want my parents hearing me talk to the police. I brought the cordless phone with me as I dashed to my room on the second floor. Sorry for calling so late. That phone number on the piece of paper I gave you yesterday was the old number. My apologies. Can you copy down the number I'm about to give you? Yeah. Here you go. He gave me the number for his direct line as I wrote it down. I thought that was the end of it, but he began making pointless small talk. We're gonna have to wrap this thing. I think we're gonna have to wrap this up when we get to the end of the chapter. Alright. It was pretty hard to hang up. So how has it been, my bar-san? Did anything strange happen recently? I see. This was the real reason. He really beat around the bush there. His adult conversational skills left me slack-jawed. Are you from around here, Uishi-san? Yeah, I am. Born and raised in Okinomiya. If you're from around here, you might know. Uishi-san, do you know what this Onikakushi thing's about? I believe that's when someone vanishes because they've been abducted by demons, right? A special saying from around here? Has the same meaning as spirited away like everyone else says. Or as my friends would say they didn't know when I asked, this older man gave me a direct answer. It made me a bit happy that he answered me directly without trying to hide anything. Hinamizawa was... I'm not sure if I should tell you about this, my bar-san. Don't play this off. If you're not going to talk, I'm not going to tell you anything. Oh, no, 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 no. That's not what I meant. It's just, it might make you feel bad. You see, long ago, Hinamizawa was feared as the village where demons reside. Oh boy, this village is sounding better and better by the minute. Better and better, guys. Demons? By demons, you mean those pitchfork-carrying things in hell? No, no, the other kind. More like the human-eating monsters. Oh, yeah, Oni. We're talking Oni. They'd go down to villages, snatching people up and gobbling them down, that kind of tale. Demons snatching people up is what this Onikakushi means. They said the curse and being demoned away happened together. What does that mean? I already knew about the mysterious deaths happening 5 years in a row, but I didn't know there are people disappearing those same 5 years. The curse and being demoned away happened together? First time I've heard of that. Is that how it is, Maibara-san? That's what I want to know. I heard Reina and Mion talking. They said if it was really the curse, then both the curse and demoning away would happen. Oishi began humming and hawing on the other end of the receiver. Maybe it's something about that came to mind? Maibara, do you know of the first incident? The murder by dismemberment? Yeah. One of the 6 perpetrators still on the run, right? Hypothetically. What if he isn't on the run, but was demoned away? We'll just replace demoned away with murdered, but okay. It was an outrageous hypothesis from Uishi-san. The incident 4 years ago was the particularly ghastly one. The police already knew the perpetrators. They posted tons of wanted posters with his face on them. They staked out various locations and investigated every escape route he had. And after 4 years, there wasn't a hint of where he might be, unless the police were completely incompetent. Even if it was an outrageous hypothesis, I couldn't simply laugh it off. What about the incident next year? When the man who supported the project and his wife died in an accident, the wife disappeared. The man's body was found, right? Actually, it was only the husband who died. His wife's body never surfaced. Unless we find the body, it's considered a missing person. By law. At the time of the incident, with the river below the cliff being muddy rapids, the police divers searched for dozens of miles, but they couldn't find her body. That's just not them not finding the body. She's still dead, right? Isn't it different from her being demoned away? We can't say someone's dead without their body. Until a certain number of years passes by law, she's still alive. I'm not sure it's right to call that being demoned away. The wife is missing. At least that part was a reality. How about the 3rd year? The Shinto priest died of illness, and his wife committed suicide? Maibara, that's the exact same scenario. The wife supposedly threw herself into the marsh. We never found the body. It's all circumstantial evidence. They simply found her suicide note in front of the marsh. A diver recovered remnants, but they never found a body. The investigative headquarters believe she faked her death and was alive somewhere. I'm not sure we can call these cases being demoned away. It's just as you said, though. Every year, one person does go missing. The incident this year, the woman with Tomatake has gone missing. What about the incident with the housewife beaten to death? Who went missing? I believe the perpetrator was caught, right? We arrested him. He was just a miscreant with a record of narcotics abuse. He admitted to the crime while being questioned about a different incident. But, well, you see, after he was arrested, a child from the victim's home went missing. Oh, this is the other guy. This is the kid. It's still under investigation. As to whether the disappearance had anything to do with the crime, please call out the guy's name so Oishi knows you already knew this and you were like, who is, you were going to ask this in this line of questioning. You said you caught him, right? Did he have an accomplice? No idea. It's considered a separate case. Moreover, we can't even check now because, well, under investigation, that man, he died in his holding cell. He swallowed a spork and choked to death. Oh my god. He swallowed a spork? What a weird way to die, but okay. I don't know why. The spork got me. It's like, I was expecting, like, I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting death by spork. It's not known whether it was an accident or suicide. Meaning for the last 5 years, there's one person who dies and one who goes missing. Sounds about right. Actually, I'm surprised as well. I never realized they had that in common. Couldn't believe this could help lead to the closing of those incidents. It's just something they had in common. Could it be there's demoned away of something in common? Oishi mumbled as he seemed to be thinking about it. So I summarized the events. The first year was the dam employee. Second year, wife of a dam project instructor. Third year was the wife of the Shinto priest. Fourth year was the victim's family child. Fifth year was the victim's girlfriend, I guess. Doesn't seem like there's anything connects them. With the exception of the first year, wives and girlfriends, those do stand out. Seems like there are a lot. Mostly women. Seems like the 4th year's victim's child was different. It would have really stood out if they were all married couples, but it's not married couples, it's parent and children as well. Come to think of it, Tomatake also told me the younger brother's alive and moved, if I recall correctly. The child that went missing in 4th year, who were they? Apparently he was quite mature. 1 year older than you. His name was Satoshi. Yep, so it is Satoshi. I mean, we already knew that, because this is a mystery, and there are no coincidences in murder mysteries. Satoshi? I remembered the name. Didn't they tell me Satoshi transferred out last year? He was at your school up till last year. Didn't they tell you anything about him? Come to think of it, when I transferred in, they said my seat belonged to a recent transfer student? Is he gonna say that? Please, come on, tell Uishi something. Then where I sat, where I once belonged to the one who was demoned away, it's his seat? I recalled the cold sensation that came from that desk. It made my hair stand on end. This string of mysterious deaths, Oyashiro-sama's curse, I knew now how it connected to me. The chilling sensation, the feeling of Oyashiro-sama caressing the back of my neck. Oyashiro-sama's curse, huh? Could Oyashiro-sama's curse really exist? In all honesty, I was beginning to believe it. And I was scared. That was why I wanted to say it was a plot crafted by man and not the work of a curse. But the more I dug, the less likely that seemed. The more I dug, the more mysterious it became. If I kept digging eventually, I'd reach the point where I'd learn something I really shouldn't know. Either be none the wiser or seek an answer I may regret. Alright, now's where a smart person asks themselves, am I playing Call of Cthulhu? Or am I playing something less grimdark? Because I'm gonna be honest, if you're living in any kind of eldritch horror universe, just stop investigating and possibly kill yourself. Probably the best ways to go. Like 40k, the best answer to anything in 40k is probably just kill yourself before your soul is raped for eternity in the dungeons of the Drakari or whatever horrible things that can happen to you. The demons be bad results. Demons be bad. Your superiors be bad. Everything be bad. So what kind of setting are we living in? Obviously our protagonist will pursue the truth. Which would I be happier with? The answer you regret? The missed opportunity. Maybe it'll be me next time. My execution could only be delayed for a year. That was when I remembered. Reina. She said she might be the next victim of the curse. You mean Reina Ryugu-san? She transferred in last year and she's your classmate, isn't she? The incidents might be a bit too disturbing for a girl. She's not just scared, is she? It wasn't that. She said it might be her next. She said it in a way that made me think she had a concrete reason behind it. It felt like she was convinced, almost as if you could say she was frightened. Her sudden change in demeanor. That someone who looked like Reina, but wasn't Reina. It might be unrelated. All the strange things I felt from Reina came back to me. I see. I'll be doing some investigation on this end. Please continue your observations of Ryugu-san, Maibara. Are you asking me to keep her under surveillance? That's not what I mean, Maibara. I just want you to watch out for your friend so she doesn't end up the next victim. At that moment, just as my mouth was agape, because I was so impressed with his mature, clever with words. Knock, knock. A sudden knock at the door sent my heart racing. In an instant, I had pointlessly covered up the end of the receiver. Keiichi, get the door, please. On the other side of the door, I heard my father's oddly upbeat voice. What could it be? It's so late. Sorry, my dad just came in. Can we leave it at this for tonight? Yeah, my apologies for calling so late. If you find out anything else, please let me know. I'll tell you if you make any progress on this end. Well then, have a pleasant evening. Keiichi, hurry and open up. Daddy's got his hands full. What is Dad doing? I stayed up in the same position while on the phone the whole time, so my joints were aching. I'm waiting to see his father descend into madness and painting like some crazy shit. With like weird materials. That would be... Do we think he's gonna descend into madness? I don't think it's horror, right? This isn't... Is this technically horror? I don't think it's technically horror. We'll see. Like... I got hugs. Hugs. I love receiving hugs. Thank you so much. When I opened the door, I saw my father was standing there with a tray. On that tray, cookies and 2 cups of black tea, a fairly fancy bread for our household. There was even sugar and lemon slices on the side, everything you could ask for. This was quite the show of hospitality. What's going on, Dad? What's all this for? Come out, don't play around, Keiichi. I'm coming in. Dad was in high spirits and had a smirk on his face. But for my entire life, I'd never seen him act this hospitable. What the hell went into him? What are you talking about? I jumped. It's not something I had to keep from my father, but how could I explain to him I was talking to a detective this late at night? Nothing much, just a friend. I don't mean the phone. She was here, wasn't she? Reina-chan. What? She wasn't here. Come now, don't try to keep her from me. You just came over to play. You two are chatting away. I thought I'd bring some tea, but it looks like I just missed her. I had no idea what Dad was talking about, but a cold sweat dripped down my back. How long were we talking? Reina-chan went upstairs about half after, so it was close to an hour, I guess? You saw her come up to the second floor. Yeah, I did. I also told her your room was down the hall up the stairs. Reina came to my house about an hour ago. Dad met her at the door and called out to me on the second floor. I probably didn't hear him because I was so focused on my conversation with Uishi. I didn't reply, but he knew I was in my room, so he had her come inside and told her my room was on the second floor. She thanked my dad and went upstairs, and then about an hour passed. She passed by my dad as he was bringing up tea and left. She came upstairs, and about an hour passed. Then passed by my dad and returned home. And after she came upstairs until she left, where was Reina? There's only a short hallway between my room and the stairs, meaning Reina had, for about an hour, in the hall. Couldn't have been standing in front of my door that time. The door to my room wasn't particularly thick. You could easily hear everything said inside. All the ominous things, all the nonsense I spoke to Uishi about things rushing in their head. Honey, don't tease him. More importantly, you need to clean up your studio. It's a mess again. Mom yelled at Dad from downstairs. Dad left the tray with me and went downstairs with a disappointed chortle. I followed my dad out of the room with my eyes. I looked down to the floor around the door where Reina might have stood the whole time. Just now, as I was talking to Uishi, with my back turned, Reina was standing a mere 6 feet away the whole time. All that time in this dimly lit doorway? What did she see? What did she hear? For what reason? As the steam from the 2 teacups ominously wafted and twisted, the aroma of black tea filled my room. Well, damn, that's quite the cliffhanger. New tips, notice from the police chief. Whew. That is... We are in a little bit of... Yeah, that is super suspicious. Our friend is just like sitting there, shows up to our house and eavesdrops on us talking to the detective. And as he's like giving us information, what the fuck's going on? Things are going south pretty quickly. I mean, we're still in the opening acts of this mystery, where our opponents should be outmaneuvering us at every turn, and we should have no clue what's going on. But man, that was that was unexpectedly intense. It's like you have like this big dangerous encounter with Reina, and you're like, okay, our first like, you know, our second big hint at like what menace we're facing, and we think we're safe in our own house because our parents are like newly involved. Like, our parents aren't involved, they're new to the village too, they're probably not corrupted or whatever, and bam, we get hit there right when we think we're safe. Reina's like in here eavesdropping on us. Damn, that's spicy. I'm afraid we're gonna have to stop things here and find out what happens next time.